Is it working? Is it working?
Is it working? Yeah. Oh, starting stream.
Oh.
Starting stream.
Oh, this is so exciting. I have to try to open it up on my phone.
It's happening. We're doing like so many things at once. We've each got like several devices.
Oh, geez.
We're each trying to make sure all these devices work.
Is it working? Are we up yet?
Are we up yet? Let's see.
Is it happening?
And according to this thing, we are rolling. Yeah, we're live now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Booyah.
Look, there's you.
Oh, yay. Cool.
We don't need two of us.
Yeah, I'm going to put mine on silent or whatever.
All right. We are getting set up. I think we're ready.
Just look at the comments on my
Yo,
phone.
Games and Movies Entertainment, what's up?
Hello.
First at the stream, welcome.
Hello, welcome Games and Movie Entertainment. Hello. Welcome.
Yo, Gaming with Jay.
I am Jeff.
This is Jeff. This is one of my best friends, Jeff.
Hi.
So tonight we're doing a live podcast recording for my podcast, SciFi with Jesse Mercury. This is episode 90. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, cool. I get to be on your 90th episode?
Yeah, and you were on the first episode.
I was on the first episode, too.
It's taken us 90 episodes to get to season 6 of Star Trek The Next Generation, because we started this in, like, the very first episode of my podcast.
Yeah.
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 Long time ago.
High five.
High five. I still have a goal of...
Oh, your hand is wet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sweaty. It's warm in here. I still have a goal of getting to season 7, like finishing the show on episode 100, but that's only like 10 episodes away. Can we do it?
I can totally do it because I cannot stop watching.
Fuck yeah.
It's so good. It is so good.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about season 6. So, well, let's introduce you. We haven't introduced you yet. This is my friend Jeff Tapia. Tell us about yourself, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff Tapia. I live in Seattle and I play in a band called Rat Queen. I'm a sci-fi enthusiast, but not an expert, and I'm here to learn a little bit more about that world.
Nice.
Good, right?
A little troubling, but overall very good. Yeah. So Jeff started watching my favorite show, Star Trek The Next Generation, right around the time when I started my podcast. So we've just been chronicling your experience watching my favorite show for the first time.
Yeah, it's been pretty great.
Okay, so tell me about season 6. What did you think of season 6 overall?
It was so good. I was starting to towards the end of season 4. I admit, I was starting to be like, man, I don't know if I can keep promising I can do these podcasts because, I don't know if I can make it through this show. And
make it through Star Trek itself.
Star Trek, because season 4 was great. It was very good, but
what's up, swag? Welcome.
I just have different, I don't know, ideas of what I want out of long-term television commitments.
Interesting. I've never heard this before.
Well, I didn't want to admit it because I was like, no, I promised that I was going to do this and I'm going to do it. And then I started season 5 and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'm in. And
interesting.
Then,
I didn't realize that.
Season 6 was
crazy.
just like, oh, shit. So good.
Yeah.
So, overall impressions, I fucking loved it. That's number 1. Number 2, they have to stop using the fucking holodeck. Because it's not safe to do it, and I don't know why they keep doing it.
Oh, you mean the crewmen need to stop using the holodeck because
they need
to
decommission that shit. It never turns out right. So why do you keep using the holodeck?
But it's so cool.
Yeah, I get it. It's sexy.
So cool.
It's a sexy temptress, but
it's an Imaginarium that's real.
I know, but shit keeps coming alive and trying to kill them, dude. That's not safe. And they're bringing kids in there. We'll get to that episode.
Yeah, totally. Yo, Gaming with Jay, welcome. Games and Movies says, I want a crossover with Star Trek and Star Wars. I totally want that also.
Yeah, I would fuck that up. Are we allowed to curse on this show?
Yeah, we
okay,
are.
Yeah.
There's actually comic books that do that crossover that are pretty awesome. No, I read a comic book that was a Star Trek and X-Men crossover, and it was awesome. I really liked it.
Star Trek and X-Men?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, do you want to jump into it here? Should we jump into season 6? Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it episode by episode. I should say before we start, for me, season 6 is one of the absolute best seasons of this show. I listened to
Fuck dick shit.
You guys aren't allowed to curse, but we are. It can get out of hand in chat. But apparently Nightbot's not working. Nightbot like jumps down your throat for all the things that don't matter and then misses fuck dick shit. But luckily we got... There we go. We got swag in the chat.
Sorry, Nightbot.
We got a mod in the chat to keep things clean.
Cool.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, so... I always think about in like the season 6 DVD, Brent Spiner saying that he thought that this was the best season of Star Trek overall.
Really?
He just felt like they were like...
You mean that the love of my life has the same opinion as me?
Yeah, Data himself loves this season.
Good. Me too.
Do you still have a hard-on for Dana?
Oh
Data.
my God.
This far
bigger
deep in
than
the show?
before.
Really?
It's bigger than it's ever been. You can see it through my leggings. It's embarrassing.
Dude.
It's really good.
Gaming with Jay is going to attempt to curse in Spanish. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay, cool. Don't get banned.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Yeah, no. No cursing in the chat, guys. Thank you, Swag. Thank you for holding it down. Okay, so this season starts with the second half of the cliffhanger of Time's Arrow from season 5. So the cliffhanger basically left off where Data went back to San Francisco in the past, and then this season picks up, and we'll start with... let's see. Here's the description from Memory Alpha. Trapped in 19th century San Francisco, the crew of the Enterprise must locate Data and prevent his death while stopping the Davidians from destroying Earth's history.
Yeah, I think that I didn't like this one or something.
Really?
I just barely remember it.
Oh, wow. That's like one of my favorite episodes of the entire show.
I barely remember it. What happened at the end?
So,
obviously Data didn't die.
Like the rest of most of the main crew comes back in time also. Like they find a way at the end of season 5 to follow Data and the Davidians back to San Francisco, and then they're... Yeah, thank you, Swag. I appreciate it. And then they're like running around the city in olden times. Mark Twain is there.
Right. So why is
Guinan
Mark Twain there? Like, that's just absurd.
Because he was in San Francisco at the time, and Guinan went to meet him because he was a big deal, you know. And she's just kind of traveling to Earth because she's an Elarian, so she's just like here hanging out with Mark Twain. So it always made sense to me that Guinan would be near Mark Twain. I think that's basically
that makes sense to you.
Totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this is the episode. Like the biggest thing for me in this episode is that you get the backstory of how Guinan and Picard met.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, you're killing me.
It's cool. I don't hate it. There's so many better episodes in this season.
Oh my God, this is like one of the best episodes ever. This is insanity. You're totally crazy.
There's so many better episodes in this season.
Oh my God, it's so good. Like the whole, just playing off since season 2 that Picard and Guinan know each other somehow.
Yeah, we know they're homies. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but then to find out that Guinan has this whole history with Picard that she's never told him about, that he doesn't know about, that she finally gets to talk with him about. Like, however many decades later. I mean, it's been like, what is it, 200, 300, 400 years? 1893, and we're in the 24th century. How many hundreds of years is that?
I don't know.
Several hundred years.
A lot of hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Doctor Who storyline.
I guess so, but
that I really
that
dig.
sort of thing belongs in Doctor Who. I don't feel it for this.
I love it.
I guess I'm not a huge fan of time travel in Star Trek.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that's part of it.
Well.
Yeah.
I was so excited to talk to you about that one because I thought you were going to like it so much. All right, moving on.
Sorry
Realm
to
of Fear.
you.
I'm crushed. We're starting off with me being completely crushed. All my hopes and dreams. Okay, Realm of Fear. Lieutenant Barclay faces his fear of transporting, but now he thinks that he's being attacked by a creature inside the transporter beam.
Yeah, that one's dope.
You like this one?
Yeah. I love Barclay.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Barclay or Barclay?
Barclay.
Barclay?
Yeah.
But it's spelt Barclay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Correct all around.
What is happening here?
I don't know what's happening here.
I'm going to stop looking at that.
Yeah, stop looking at it.
Sorry,
I don't know what's happening either.
I smoked a little bit of pot.
Yeah, it happens.
Okay. Anyways, Barclay's dope. I like him. I like anything with him in it.
Yeah.
What happens in this one? He swears that there's like a thing in the transporter, right?
Right. So
yeah.
Counselor Choi thinks he's having transporter psychosis.
Yeah.
Where there's this like new like form of anxiety disorder that revolves around being like broken apart and put back together.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up, though.
I think it's really interesting. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's
Yo, what's up,
really
Zerdix? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us.
Excuse me.
That's Jeff saying welcome.
Hi.
I don't think there's a podcast you've been on where you haven't burped.
I'm a burpy person. There's like hours of like recording of me just burping before I sing and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's like felt anxiety a lot in my life, this like kind of spoke to me a little bit. I'm like, yeah, he's anxious about doing this thing that sounds terrifying. Although I would totally do it. I would totally transport if I could. Oh,
yeah. I mean, I think I'd be fine with it. But, like, you know, it is kind of weird.
Yeah,
like,
totally. Yeah. There's, like, the question, are you dying and then being reassembled? Or are you just being moved?
Does it make a copy of you?
Yeah, that's the question. Like, does the original die and the copy continues to live? Or do you move from one place to the other? That's what I was trying to say. What do you think?
I guess functionally we're moving from one place to the other.
Yeah.
I don't know about. Yeah, I mean,
it's something I'm
for all intents and purposes, you're moving from one place to the other. But
yeah,
like,
totally.
I don't know. Anyway.
But did the old you die? I don't know.
I don't
Maybe.
know. I think that there's dead me's, like
creepy.
Prestige style.
Prestige style. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
totally.
That's messed up.
Yeah, I like this episode. I like Troy's like plexing thing where she like goes like this all the time. Do you remember that? Where she's like telling Barkley to learn how to calm down by flexing, which is something I think is real, right?
Is that real?
I don't know. I've tried it before based off of Counselor Troy's recommendation.
Is it working?
Are you relaxed?
I don't know.
Do you have transporter psychosis?
No, but sometimes if I have to talk to too many people on the bus, I like freak out.
Very similar, I think.
Yeah.
Yo, JM, what's up, dude? Welcome. Yeah, so I like this episode. It's like not on my favorites list, but I really enjoy it every time I see it.
Word.
Yeah. Moving on. Episode 3. We're like moving right along. Man of the People. Oh, shit.
Oh, this one's so messed up.
This one is fucking weird.
It is so weird.
As an ambassador mediates peace talks to end a fierce civil war, Deanna Troi begins to act erratically after spending some time with him.
Right? So, like, he turns you into a psycho.
Yeah, he basically, like, lives off of you and soaks up all your life force.
Yeah.
And then you turn into a crazy person.
Crazy, like, jealous, angry person.
Just so this guy can, like, focus in his mediations. He's, like, sucking up the life energy out of Troi.
Right? And so
really,
it poses the question,
rapey. It's
like,
very rapey.
It is super rapey, but he's, like, saving worlds, right? So, like, that's how No, I agree. It doesn't matter, but that's, like, the thing that, like, that's how he justifies it
to himself.
Which, if I were an off-kilter person, I could see that being, like, a thing, but I'm not a horrible, stupid villain, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting that, do you remember in season 2, Riva, the mediator, who was deaf?
Yes.
And he was, like he had these 3 people that were his choir, and they, like...
Right.
They spoke for him, and I always felt a little uncomfortable.
And they represented, like, 3 different, like, parts of him, right?
Yeah. Dude, Star Trek is lit.
Yeah.
Wise words.
It is so lit, dude.
But this kind of reminded me of that, just taken to an extreme, where, like, this mediator is, like, Riva's not a bad guy, but he's kind of a dick, you know? He kind of takes people for granted. I think he took his chorus for granted.
Yeah.
And when he loses them, he, like, has this revelation
that
he needs to be better, and that's why he's a good guy. But in this situation, it's
but this guy doesn't learn anything.
No, this guy doesn't learn shit. This guy's the worst.
He just sucks.
This is like that storyline taken to this next extreme where it's not worth having this mediator like be this great guy if he's so rapey.
Yeah.
And killing people in his wake. It's ridiculous.
That's fucking shit. That's really messed up. I don't like it.
Wait, games and movies, you're watching us now and playing Super Mario Maker at the stream at the same time? Are you streaming right now and watching us? That's awesome. Look at you multitask.
Cool. I love that.
I'm not wild about this episode. It makes me very uncomfortable.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For the principle of it, but, like, you know, gross.
I think it's got a good message, but something about the way that like
The
Troy
makeup is weird.
The makeup is weird.
Yeah.
Like the way that Troy's decline is presented feels
Although
weird.
she looked so good with that streak of white in her hair
yeah.
and that dress. Oh,
I like really want to
so good.
go gray. I just want to.
Me too. I've
go
got like a
gray
streak of
before
gray.
I lose my hair. Like
You're
life
gonna lose
goal.
your hair?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm like really nervous about that.
Oh, I think it'll be fine.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's totally gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
But my goal in life is to go gray before I lose my hair. I think gray.
I want to go
awesome.
gray. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
fucking
sure.
gray streak, so good. That's the best part
For
of that episode.
sure. Troy's gray hair.
Here we go. Episode 4. This one's classic. The Enterprise discovers a ship that crashed on a Dyson sphere more than 75 years prior with a single survivor suspended in the transporter buffer. Captain Montgomery Scott. Scotty from the original series.
This was so silly. That one is so silly. I enjoyed it. It was very cute.
Yeah.
But like it's so silly.
Yeah.
But look at his face. What a cute guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you seen any of the original series?
I'm aware of who this guy is. I
Okay.
haven't seen much
Yeah.
of the original series.
Like I love this guy. You know, I've
But
seen the whole
the movies that everyone hates that I like.
the movies of the new.
Yeah.
I like those too. But
Yeah.
but you know, this actor was in all the original 6 movies plus the original series, and then it's just kind of like it's like a love letter to the original series to have him come back. You get to see the bridge on the holodeck. You get to see Scotty hanging out,
that was
toasting
really
to his friends.
cool.
It's so great.
That was really cool.
It's so
I was
great.
like, that must have been so cool for people like watching it.
Yeah, totally. Like
when it
fans
came
of Star
out,
Trek
yeah,
for a long
like
time.
like seeing the old bridge and everything. Like that must
Yeah.
have been really dope. And he's very cool, and I do like the message. It's a good message. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like old people aren't useless in
useless.
society, so please stop treating them as such because they're people.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
like, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
It was chill.
I like seeing the 2 chief engineers kind of go up against each other.
Yeah,
I will say-
Geordie's dope.
My one weirdness with this episode is that like Geordie doesn't treat Scotty well until towards the end. Like he's really impatient with him,
Yeah,
and I wish that he'd been like a little more.
yeah. I
positive.
felt that was slightly out of character for
Yeah.
Geordie.
Hey Andy, yo Dana, what's up? Welcome.
Hey, Andy and Dana.
Andy, I realize that this is spoilers for you because you're in season 2 of this show.
Yeah, Andy.
Oh, you have special 1992 Star Trek figures.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
Nice.
I have some of those also. I have one that was signed by Counselor Troy, and I love it.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
So cool.
Yeah. This episode, it's just fun. It's great, and I love the Dyson sphere. I think the Dyson sphere is the coolest thing. It's like
Oh,
it's this
yeah.
giant sphere. It's like built
That
around a
was
star.
so cool.
So people live on the inside of it and harness the energy from the sun.
Yeah.
And there's this alien. Well, there's this theory that there's this alien megastructure that's this reason that's the star that's nearby. We're seeing it like blink in and out.
Oh, they found out that it's just like something.
Aren't they still? They're still trying to figure out what it is, right?
No, I think that they figured it out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. Well, one of the
Yeah.
theories was that it was a Dyson sphere.
Yeah, it
That
was.
It was like something so
not.
big and
Yeah.
man-made orbiting a star that it was causing it to like blink.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
gravitational whatever
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Dyson sphere like really captured my imagination. Actually, I wrote the song Lightspeed where I put a Dyson sphere
Oh,
in
that's awesome.
because of this episode. I never finished
Yeah, that was
song,
such
though.
a cool concept, and I love how they got out, and I loved them not being able to communicate with the Enterprise, but they were like, they know each other as a crew so well, and they also are such good like military people that they know what to do in order to get out of the situation. They can like predict what they're doing on the Enterprise. Like,
Oh yeah,
they
totally.
probably can't get out, you know, like
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like they're all just
love
like
it.
figuring out like by logic, you know, what.
Totally. Like
is
everyone on the
happening.
crew is a scientist. They all like think about the universe through
Yeah.
the scientific method.
Yeah.
So they can all kind
So
of
they all
think things
end
out
up at
reasonably
like
and
a
logically.
reasonably like similar conclusion to where they can help each other out.
Yeah,
And, like, yeah, it's
totally.
really cool.
Hey, all this boy does is 360 no scope noobs. That is a long name. I'm a new sub. I see that you're into Star Trek, so am I. Awesome. I'm very into Star Trek. Look, I wore my Star Trek shirt. Did I wear this? I think I wore this exact same shirt the last time we did this.
Yeah, I
live.
think you did.
It was totally a coincidence, but I realized it later in the day, and I
Yeah.
almost changed, but then I did not.
No, it's good.
Fuck it, I love
it's
this
good.
shirt.
I wore a Dolly Parton shirt.
Yeah, Jeff's shirt's awesome.
It's really cool.
Jeff's shirt is so cool. I was staring at it for a while earlier.
I just bought it from a local company here, and I forgot the name of it. But
story,
I'll
bro.
figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, next is Schisms. Episode 5. Enterprise crew members report that they go to sleep but wake up exhausted. A mysterious subspace pocket forms inside a cargo bay. So this is the one where people are falling asleep and being stolen by these other aliens
This
and
is
experimented on
my
in their
worst
sleep.
nightmare.
This episode is terrifying.
This is my worst nightmare. When I was a kid, I was like, have you ever seen that movie Fire in the Sky?
No.
It's a terrifying
Fire in the
alien
Sky.
abduction
That
movie.
sounds so familiar.
And it's so messed up.
Where do I know that from? I know that from
because
something.
it was just like, oh, I don't know. It's just like,
Was Spielberg
movie.
involved in that somehow?
I don't remember. I was
Okay.
a child and I was so terrified I never watched it again.
Yeah, I don't think I've never seen it.
But anyway, I used to be really scared of alien abduction. So like
yeah?
to me, like that sort of thing, like I like because we lived on a runway too in Culver City. Like there were always planes flying overhead, and sometimes it would be so loud that I was like convinced. Like I was just like laying there in terror,
sure it
thinking
was
that I
aliens?
was gonna get abducted
Like-
by aliens. Yeah, it was a scary movie.
You are the
Swagger
sister
Nut.
of
Yeah.
Fox Mulder.
It's messed up. It's messed up. Anyway, it scared the bejeebers out of me,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Dana,
That's part of what makes it a good episode, though, because it
Absolutely.
really like hit me in like this visceral way.
totally, I
Yeah.
totally agree. Dana, this is my friend Jeff Tapia.
Hello, Dana.
She's awesome.
I'm awesome.
That's all you need to know. No cursing in the chat. Thank you, though. Thanks for asking. Look at that. Somebody asked
Yeah.
first. We will curse here.
I've been actually trying to abstain from cursing.
I don't care if you do.
No, but I feel like it's only fair.
I guess.
I mean, you can do what you want, and I'll do what
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah, like, there's no way to stop people from saying, like, fuck you in the chat, but, like, if we say this episode's fucking great, that's very different.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say like heck or whatever.
Whatever makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, like, I love that, like, as the mystery unfolds, the answer is that, like, the reason people aren't sleeping is because they're being abducted and, like, cut to pieces and put back together before they wake up.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. Like, Riker's arm was, like, cut off and reattached. Oh, my God.
yeah.
That scared the shit out of me
And
when
when
I
they
was
were
a
in the
kid.
holodeck and like figuring out, like they took the people that had the same symptoms and they were all like trying, and Troy like is a boss and like figures it out for everyone. Like she's like, what do you remember? And, like
When they go to the holodeck and
and they build the
that
table.
it's
Yeah,
terrifying.
it's
There's,
so
like, creepy, weird
scary.
noises in the background, and
Yeah,
then they all kind of
ugh.
have this shared nightmare that
Yeah.
they're trying to recreate.
Ugh.
I love it. I
It was
love
a
this
good one,
episode.
and it's very creepy. I liked
Yeah.
it a lot.
I think
5
so far
stars.
this is my second favorite of the season after Time Zero Part 2, which I fucking love.
That's your favorite of the season?
So far of the 5 we've talked about
No,
so
but
far.
Times Arrow?
So far, yeah.
Oh, of the 5. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
totally.
Excuse me.
Next is True Q.
Oh, yeah.
Q once again graces the Enterprise with a visit, claiming that a young intern aboard is really a Q. So there's this young woman who's, like, we come to find out is the like the daughter of 2Q who left the Continuum, I think.
They left the Continuum because they were like in love, and then
Yeah.
and then the Q like murdered them.
Yeah, and then like this
like,
girl
as a
grew
punishment.
up and had like the
Yeah.
powers of the Q, and Q was testing her,
Yeah,
and there was puppies. What did you think of this one?
it was cool. I didn't dislike it, but it just it fell a little flat to me compared to the rest of the season.
I
But-
agree. I like it, but it's not.
But it's
not my
yeah,
favorite.
it's
I
a
don't
cool,
look forward to
it's a cool concept. I like it. I think that it would have been cooler if she were telekinetic or something, and they were trying to figure something out about that instead of like it
Yeah.
right away being like, "Oh, you're Q," and like it turned into this like emotional battle for her. Like, what part of me am I?
Yeah.
I'm so young, and that sort of thing is confusing.
Yeah, and there's that really
Yeah.
awkward scene where she hits on Riker and tries to
Oh yeah, that was
like
weird.
she like forces him to kiss her, and it's really
Yeah.
really creepy.
Gross.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, like, come on.
So like in
Have
season
some
1,
self-respect.
Riker's like this young suave dude, and by season 6 he's a total dad bod.
I love his bod.
You love his dad bod?
Yeah.
Yo, Julian,
I
welcome.
love it. Hello, Julian.
That's awesome.
the door.
We missed the knock knock joke.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I see the end of it, but I missed the rest of it.
Yeah,
I think.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, so this episode's fine. Like nothing
Yeah,
bad.
nothing offensive, whatever.
But yeah, just okay.
It's okay.
Next up is Rascals. Captain Picard, Ensign Rogue, Guinan, and Keiko O'Brien are regressed physiologically to age 12 by a transporter accident, but retain their adult memories, resulting in different reactions from each. When Rogue Ferengi hijacked the Enterprise, the young crew members, along with Alexander Rozhenko, lead the revolt.
Kid Picard is the best. They're all the best.
So great.
They're all so good at being who they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
all of the kids in this are so good.
Oh no, Dana says the hurricane is coming her way. That's scary.
Oh, are you okay?
Dana, we're all thinking about you. Yeah, man, this storm is terrifying.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah. Well, we're here for you. Talking about Star Trek.
Yeah. If you need a little.
Yeah. So I think
pick me up.
The premise of this episode is like insane.
I love it. That they would so cool.
Have like several of the main cast members played by children. I think Guinan and Ro are impeccable.
They're so good.
It's like insane how well portrayed those characters
yeah,
are.
they are so good. Like at being Guinan and Ro.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's crazy. I love it. The guy who plays Picard was actually the same person who played his nephew in season 4.
Okay.
Who is actually related to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he plays like all of Picard's younger relatives, even Picard himself.
That's awesome. He was very good.
Yeah.
Also, I liked him a lot.
This episode has maybe like the highest cheese factor of anything on the show thus far.
I like how they stay kids for a little bit longer.
I loved it.
Or Ro stays a kid for a little bit longer, so Guinan can like so that Guinan can like be interested in what she's doing as a child at the very end.
I thought that Ro just was like finding this like comfort in being a kid and didn't want to go back, and she wanted to like just give it a couple more minutes.
That's exactly what I said.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought you said. I have no idea what I thought you said, but there you go.
Well, that's
we
literally
agree.
What happened is that Guinan was like, "Oh, tell me about this drawing."
I thought you were saying that she did it so that Guinan would pay attention to her. Isn't that what you said?
No. I mean, yes, but not like that. Like,
okay. I think we're saying the same thing from opposite sides of.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
We're like yelling at each other across the football field, and neither of us can quite hear what the other's saying, but we're saying kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's sort of the same thing. Anyways,
totally. Yeah,
they're
I love
great.
This episode.
Yeah, they are
this
so
one
great.
Is like totally fantastic. I kind of like when
Look
shows.
Look at Jesse with his sister, you guys.
Yeah, the face mug.
Look at that. It's my favorite mug. I use it every time I come over here.
I made that for my grandpa, and then after he passed away, I took it back because I loved it.
Oh, hi, Evan.
Evan.
Oh, look, it's Evan.
Yo, what's up, dude?
What up, dude?
Yo, welcome.
I haven't been on Twitter lately, Evan. I'm sorry. I hope you don't miss me. Sorry. What's next?
Next is we're like on a roll now. Next is A Fistful of Datas, episode 8. After a computer malfunction, Worf, his son Alexander Rozhenko, and Counselor Deanna Troi are trapped in an Old West holodeck program wherein the interactive characters physically resemble and have the same enhanced abilities as Data. So this is the Old West episode. It's like the famous Old West episode from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Couple points about this. All right, the fucking holodeck.
I know. You're right. It's so dangerous.
2, Counselor Troi doing a Southern accent.
I love it. She is the sexiest ever in this episode.
It's awesome.
Like I don't want to just. I mean, Counselor Troi is an amazing character, and I don't want to like boil her down to her sexiness.
Yeah.
But she's very attractive.
Yeah.
And in this episode, like her outfit, like the way she looks dressed as a cowboy, like kills me.
She's so good.
So awesome.
She's so good in this one.
I like it so much.
And Data's accent also is hilarious when he like keeps jumping in and out of like
his different characters.
Yeah.
And then he plays like the bartender woman at the end. I feel like in season 6 they kind of say, you know what, let's be a little silly, let's be a little ridiculous, but like our characters are so strong that I think we can pull this off. And to me, they do it every time.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know about every time, but yeah, totally.
So far, at least. Well, yeah, I don't know either. We'll find out.
But yeah, like I love Worf and Alexander connecting over something, like, because very early in the episode he's like, oh, I see the appeal to this game, you know, like he gets to like fight people and stuff, and that's really cool. But point 3, the fucking holodeck, man.
Yeah, it's so dangerous.
Like, it is so dangerous.
There's
Why are people using that?
Yeah, totally.
Like, don't use the holodeck. The holodeck is dangerous.
I think it's worth the risk.
Sorry, like, no.
Evan wants to know why you're hiding that shave under your hat.
Oh,
because it's a cool
I'm
hat.
not hiding it. It's just my
looks
hat
great.
looks dope, and I look fresh as fudge.
There you go.
Yeah, but thank you.
There you go. I love like Worf kind of opening up and being a little bit more playful in this episode, like a side of him you don't really see. Julian, we're not doing Mario Maker today, and I'd like if people keep asking for Mario Maker, that's coming another day. If any of the mods don't mind, if they keep doing it, just get it out of there, because that'll drive me crazy. No, we're playing Mario Maker more in the future.
will happen soon, because he's gonna force me to do that.
Yeah, I really want Jeff to come play with me one of these days.
Sorry about that, this in advance, but yes.
But yes, the name of the stream says it all. This is not a Mario Maker stream.
Yeah.
I love Data playing all the different characters. They do this a couple times throughout the whole run of the show, where they have Brent Spiner play like different characters.
Yeah,
because he's a
really good actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I want to have his children.
You want to have his children?
Yeah, his
you like him a lot.
Android children.
Oh, okay. You want to have Data's children, not
I want to have
Brent Spiner's children.
Yeah, I want to have Data's children.
Did I told you about meeting Brent Spiner.
Yes, you
okay.
have.
I don't know if to next up is episode 9, The Quality of Life. Riker, Worf, LaForge, and Crusher are playing poker. No, wait, hold on. I'm reading the long thing. The short thing. Data discovers a group of robots that he believes qualify as life forms. So this is the one about the exocomps, where there's like this scientist who's built these machines that can fix things, but Data thinks they're alive, and he kind of gets behind
and Data was super invested in
he totally was. It's kind of like a sequel to Measure of a Man in season 2, where Data has to go on trial for whether or not he's like sentient.
Right.
Yeah, I like this episode. I feel like it's a little on the nose for me.
So, yes, at times.
What was your reaction?
I enjoyed it probably because it was a Data episode, and it's like I love almost every Data episode. But I liked the actual robots and how they handled that.
They're cute.
They're really cute, and like they looked really good. They still look pretty good, you know, like that aged well, I feel like. But like, yeah. I also like the part where they pass the test, or they keep failing the test for being alive.
Yeah.
Remember? But that's because they're smart enough to know that it's a test, so they're trying to like figure out like how to like, I don't know, fix it or make the fake meltdown from happening. Yeah, right. They fix the fake meltdown from happening anymore. And he's like, oh no, they're alive, but like not like that because he's Data.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Like,
I love that they're still kind of playing with the idea of, can a mechanical creature be alive? Because that it really comes back to Data
remember
himself.
There were those like nanobots too that were like,
those nanobots that were alive beginning, like first episode of season 3, I think.
Yeah,
where the guy from Scrubs was on it.
Oh yeah, the guy that played Kelso, I think. Yeah,
Kelso, is that his name? I haven't seen that in so long, I don't remember. So yeah, I like this. I like what it does for the show. It's not one that I hold in like super high regard, but it's good. All right, now we're getting into this is taking over as my favorite of the season. Chain of Command Part 1 and 2.
This one was really cool.
Yeah, Andy says your hair's on point.
Cute. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Your hair's always on point.
Yeah.
She knows.
And so is her face, because she's gorgeous.
Yes, I agree. Actually,
Andy, close your ears for a second. I don't want you to hear this spoiler. She's watching through the show and she's really excited about it. Okay, so Picard, Worf, and Dr. Crusher are reassigned from the Enterprise to a secret mission. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is under the command of Captain Edward Jellicoe, who immediately starts making changes, much to the dismay of the crew. And then let's just read the description of Part 2 and talk about them as a whole.
Right.
Because that's only half the story here. Captain Picard's secret mission fails, leading him to being captured by Cardassians. As he is tortured by his captors, Captain Jellicoe and the Enterprise attempt to prevent war with the Cardassian Union.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so much good stuff in this
Yeah.
couple episodes. And usually I'm like kind of against two-parters a little bit. Like,
You mentioned that before.
yeah, I'm usually not super into two-parters.
Is it the whole nature of the cliffhanger that bugs you? Or
No, I
is
think
it dragging out the story that
it
bugs
just
you?
drags out a story that usually there
Yeah.
isn't quite enough story to go around.
Yeah. I think for me, because
But this one there was plenty.
Totally. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I think for me, the reason I kind of like it when some of the two-parters are slow is because I just love... No, you know what? I take it back, because Redemption Part 1 is a little slow. The end of this season is a little slow. I thought the last episode wasn't my favorite. So I'm actually... I guess the season end cliffhangers can be kind of a crapshoot. But Time's Arrow, like, absolute favorite for me of all the cliffhangers. It's so great. Data's head buried under San Francisco like 400 years ago. It's so good. How could you not like it?
That is pretty. I mean, I didn't. Did I say I didn't like it? I think I'm just kind of lukewarm on
Sure.
it. But
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah,
maybe I said I didn't like it, but
Yeah.
but you know, I do
So,
get
but
it.
anyway, I'm
like,
with you. I think
yeah.
I think your point.
A lot
is
of the
very
two-parters
valid. Yeah.
are kind of icky, and
But
this
this
one's
one-
so great. So
It's
much
so
great stuff going on,
good.
and my heart was actually beating when he
Yeah.
was getting tortured.
Let
When he
me-
was getting tortured, it was so intense.
It's so intense. Let's see who plays.
and it's messed up, and it's literally
this
1984.
Golomek. It's totally 1984.
No, it's like
not
like
this guy.
the 2 + 2 = 5 thing.
Yeah, how many lights? This is
Yeah.
like the famous Star Trek meme. Like there are 4 lights. You know, this is where this comes from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, you see Data in his red uniform. It's fucking weird. It makes his face look the wrong color.
Yeah.
Gul Madred. That's the guy who played Gul Madred. Oh my God, there's so much fucking here on this website.
I don't know, but I really loved the there are 4 lights thing. That was so good and was so intense. And that guy was a really
Yeah.
good actor. He was really great.
Oh, David Warner. who's
David Warner.
a really famous character actor. He's been in a lot. He like totally knocked it out of the park in this episode.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so if
And
you,
he almost does it. I'm sorry.
he almost does. Oh, he almost like
He
gives
almost
up and
says,
says
like
that there's 5 lights.
just
Yeah.
because he didn't want to be tortured anymore, and he thought that the Enterprise was gone.
Yeah,
Because he told him that.
it's such an insane
Yeah.
episode. Like the fact that they just kind of go way out on a limb and say we're just going to do an episode about torture and then torture the main character.
But you know what? Also, Picard said at the very end, she was Troy was like I could see why you would give up and just say that there were 5 lights, and he's like, no, I saw 5 lights.
That's right.
Because that's like a thing. Like people can torture you to that point where
Yeah.
like your brain will just start believing something
Totally.
totally conflicting, which is double
Which is why
think,
torture-
which is
torture's,
double
like,
think
worthless.
from 1984.
Right.
You know, like that's exactly what that is.
Yeah,
so
they put
I
your
don't
head
know.
in like a jar full of bugs or
Yeah.
mice or whatever it was. So terrifying.
So like yeah, it's just really I really liked that they took that 1984 stuff and like really brought it to this story, and like people are always trying to do a fresh spin on that, and I think that that's really hard to do, and I think
Yeah.
that they did it very well.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And also this episode marks the episode where Counselor Troy starts wearing a uniform,
That's very
which
true.
I thought was so good.
Yeah. Yo,
I
Assassin, welcome.
love her in a uniform.
I love it too. It took them so long.
She
and
doesn't need to be wearing different clothes from
Totally.
everyone else because she's a good-looking lady.
Totally.
You know?
It
And
kind of
like,
rights it's not rights a wrong necessarily, but kind of like, I don't know. She was asked to change her uniform by this Captain Jellicoe who
by
came
Captain
in.
Jellicoe.
But then she continues to do it by choice
Yeah.
for the rest of the run
because
of the show.
she's so much more professional. And this to me, there are so many good, like women-driven episodes in this.
Yeah, totally.
Season.
Totally.
I got really excited about some of them. I can't wait till those come up because those were some of my favorites. But anyway, yeah. So this is when Jellicoe like asks her to wear a uniform and she sticks with it. Like it's
she
really
sticks with it
good.
for the rest of the show. It's really interesting to see another captain in command, and he like doesn't get along with Riker at all. Like, the
But
whole B-plot
everything,
is
but it
fascinating
all
to me.
worked too because
Yeah.
because Starfleet is like such a good structure.
Yeah.
And like because you know because the people are so loyal to like that structure and people actually follow through on this stuff, everything ends up working, you
Yeah.
know, like, but
Like Prime Directive fucking works.
yeah,
you
like
know?
it works, you know,
Yeah.
and there are times when there's conflict, and like the whole conflict with him and Riker where they're like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And but I'm not going to command you to be the pilot for this, but I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, because he knows that it's the best thing for the mission. He's not going to be a petty beehole about it.
Yeah.
And
totally.
not pilot the ship that they need him to pilot, you know?
Yeah.
And because the Prime Directive is the most important thing.
Totally.
Even after they got rid of Picard under really shady circumstances.
Yeah. Which
Riker's
none of the
gonna
people on the crew
follow.
know about.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole setup of this, like the first half where Picard is going on the secret mission with Worf and Crusher and like they're training in the holodeck and all that, it's so great.
Yeah.
Evan says it's crazy that Warner played the Cardassian interrogator in this episode that we just talked about, Gorkon on The Undiscovered Country, and the human ambassador on Final Frontier. Crazy.
Wow, you know a lot of stuff.
Dude, Evan knows his shit. That is all fucking true. That totally like jogged my memory. Yeah, Swag was slightly rude to someone and also misspelled Spock, Spock. So let's all be nice to each other, because we're all gonna be wrong about everything all the time, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, this is now my favorite in the season. I want to be able to say like a favorite in the season when we get to the end. But so far, this is my top.
You keep saying this.
Yeah, this is supplanting Rascals and Times Arrow. But those are my top 3 so far. Yeah.
My goodness, this LaCroix cola flavored water is delicious.
Isn't it good? I just accidentally went to episode 1 of Deep Space Nine from there.
Oh, so
I'm like,
good.
Emissary? What? Like the Emissary from season 2 of this show? Hey, you're getting some love from Kitten Haley.
Oh, Kitten Hale? Is it you, Katie? Katie, is it you? Starfish?
I am pushing
So
the wrong.
what's the next episode?
Okay, here we go. Next episode. Okay, Ship in a Bottle. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Andy, close your ears again. You don't want this spoiler either. Professor Moriarty returns, only this time he gains control of the Enterprise in his quest to leave the holodeck.
Fuck the holodeck. The holodeck should not be being used.
But it's so fertile for story.
It's just not, it's not appropriate. Don't do it.
I
Don't
love it.
say no to the holodeck.
I've been waiting since season 2 for Moriarty to come back, and he's finally back, and it's
They got
so
a happy
great.
ending, and that's chill.
And I love the whole like dream within a dream, like the holodeck
That
program within
like
a program
Inception
thing.
stuff.
It's like
Yeah.
Inception before Inception was even incepted inside of Chris Nolan's mind. When Inception was like the tiniest little incept inside of Chris Nolan.
That's where he got it.
Yeah.
Busted, Chris Nolan. Busted.
Evan says he's confused by all the chatter. Dude, we all are. It's great. Yeah. And like, we got a lot of my Mario Maker watchers in here. So thank you guys for coming to hang out for some sci-fi stuff.
Hi,
This is
I'm
awesome.
Jeff. I'm a friend of Jesse Mercury's, also known as Bonnie Quest at times when I'm feeling super futuristic.
Yeah.
But my name is Jeff. I play in a band called Rat Queen. Check them out, ratqueen.bandcamp.com, if you like punk rock about doing drugs.
It's pretty great.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Espino's got to go. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, Jeff and I are old friends.
Yeah.
We've been friends for years now.
Yeah, we met in LA.
We met in LA when my band was on tour.
Yeah.
And you told me,
And I got you guys a show at the Roxy.
That was, we played like the Roxy has this little club above it called On the Rocks, and it was like so fun.
Yeah, it was
one of the
cool
best
show.
shows ever.
Yeah.
It's like not a very big room, but it's so swanky and awesome.
Yeah,
and
it's
I felt
really
like
cool.
Such a rock star.
Yeah,
I
it's
played
cool
a song
spot.
there, Oh Susanna, that's about the Dark Tower that I wrote forever ago. Just saying.
I don't know what Dark Tower is. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh
yes,
my
I
God.
do. Yeah. It took me a sec. My bad.
We were just looking at each other in terror. For people listening to this later on the podcast, that's what was happening. We're staring into each other's eyes and like no comprehension of what the other was talking about. So anyway, so Jeff and I have been doing this on my podcast for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're just getting to season 6.
Yeah.
I do a lot of other shit on the podcast, but like every episode I have different people come on, talk about different shit, Star Wars, you know, whatever. If you're new to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And you can tell the story, but just later, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. We don't have to tell it. We've told it on the podcast before.
Yeah.
We don't have to tell it.
Stop copying.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? There's like a chat going on in the chat that has nothing to do with what's happening on screen.
That's
It's
cool.
just like people talking to each other also.
Oh, I was just wondering.
Which is great. I mean, I love it.
Come
it's
and
awesome.
hang out,
Yeah.
just be yourself.
And then we got the chat on the screen if anyone's watching this or listening to this. We do have the chat on the screen if you want to go see it on my YouTube page. You can see Jeff's burps in real life on YouTube at youtube.com/Jesse Mercury Sci-Fi, which you're at right now if you're watching us, but this is going to be a podcast later. Anyway, I love this episode. What do you think about the fate? Andy, if you're back, spoilers again. What do you think about the fate of Moriarty, where he's kind of evolved from his first appearance, and then he gets to live out his days in this... correct, Evan. Yeah, that's correct. He gets to live out his days in this computer program that he thinks is reality. Like, they're tricking him into having a happy ending for himself, but in his mind, it's real. Do you think it's okay?
That's great, because he can never leave the holodeck. And if he's grown, like, consciousness, you may as well give him, like, the ability to go and retire and do whatever he wants with the woman he loves. Like, that would be so crappy, because that's why he went so crazy, like, again, because he was stuck in the holodeck and they didn't realize that he was feeling time that entire time.
He was feeling the passage of time.
Yeah, so like he
was just like in carbonite the whole time, basically.
Exactly, just it's torture.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. He can't leave the holodeck, whatever.
I love this episode so much. But I'm a little conflicted on lying to someone like that. So, like, his whole life is now a lie,
Is
like,
it, though?
Imagine if he were to ever, for some reason, discover, like, the limits of the program or discover it was the holodeck somehow. Because he's a genius. Like, he might discover it. And then he's stuck in the holodeck. No one is checking on him. Like, he's living this lie, and then he can't get out, and he's trapped forever.
It's still amazing stuff to see, and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
What else is there for, or what do you want them to do?
It's
do you want
like,
them to kill him?
Like, do you remember the episode where Riker, Future Imperfect, where Riker had this son? He like woke up in the future and had a son, but the son was actually just creating an alternate reality.
Bummer. Yeah,
I love that episode, but the kid's life was unfulfilled because everything in it was fake, And getting him off of that planet at the end of the episode was kind of this way to bring him back into like society and culture that's real, because it's a synthetic world in the holodeck. It's not. It's not real. But then I don't know, because like if Moriarty is alive, then why? And the holodeck created him. Then why can't the holodeck itself grow the way that Data has grown and have consciousness the way the exocomps have consciousness? Maybe the holodeck itself is alive. When you run a program, maybe this program itself is alive.
What do you want them to do?
I have no idea.
Like, how would they get him out of there? They can't. They tried.
Yeah.
They tried.
Totally.
They
and then
tried
he
to
tricked
use
them
the
and tried to take over the ship.
Yeah.
Or tried to make them think that he'd taken over the ship, I guess, this time. I love that they found a new... Because Moriarty took over the ship the first time, and then this time he pretends to, inside of a simulation, to fool Picard. And, like, it's just great. It's a great story.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love it. I mean,
they really had me, too. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to get me when it comes to TV,
but
they
cool.
really had me. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I feel like this show is so great when it does mysteries. And it found such a cool way to do a new mystery in the Sherlock Holmes style without doing another Sherlock Holmes episode.
Right.
Where, like, the mystery
Which I could do without.
I would have loved it if they did it, but it makes it more special that they only did it once.
Yeah.
The fact that they brought Moriarty back, but it wasn't another Sherlock Holmes episode where the mystery is, like, happening in the reality of the quote-unquote real world in the holodeck. What did I just say? That was a lot of nonsense. And now it's lost. Who cares? Moving on. Great episode. Next? I love that episode.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'm putting that in my top list. I now have 4 in my top list. That's not on top, though. Chain of Command's still on top.
It's a lot of tops.
Next is Aquiel.
This one's bonkers.
Geordie LaForge falls in love with a woman accused of murder in an isolated communication relay station. The Enterprise crew investigates the crime. The only other suspect is a Klingon officer who frequently visited the station. So this is the one where Geordie's like going through this woman's personal logs, getting to know her because she was like
he
supposedly
always
murdered.
Falls in love with people like through a secondary means.
I know, it's weird.
He needs to get out there and meet people. He can't just like go through people's stuff and
he like
and fall
it's
in love with them.
Stalkery.
But he's a nerd. Like he's like not good at social stuff, I guess. So like
and And I love him
I guess
so much.
I get that.
And
but
I want him to, like, do well with relationships.
But now I think he's awkward, so whenever I see him kiss somebody, it's really awkward for me.
Yeah, I know LeVar Burton complained that they made him, like, kind of a
dweeb?
schlub with the ladies. But I think it's really interesting that the chief engineer, who the thing that he knows best is the engines of the Enterprise and something mechanical.
Yeah.
Whenever he, like, meets someone who is attractive to him and who is also digital,
right?
And like someone he can't interact with in the real world, then he seems to, like, open to that type of person more,
right?
And maybe because, like,
it's
he's part
he
mechanical,
has
he has, like,
yeah,
mechanical
but I think
eyes,
he just has
you know?
low self-esteem.
I think that's true too, and I actually wrote a song like years ago called "Digital Girl" about, like, falling in love with someone that you see online who isn't real,
right?
And, like, I mean, I've felt those feelings before,
right?
You know, like, I've seen someone online and be like,
oh, I do
it
all the time.
But at the same time, it's like when I really let that feeling take hold, it feels empty to me,
right?
Because I don't really know that person, so I kind of keep those feelings, like, to the surface,
right?
Because, like, I don't need them to go any deeper, because I don't know, like, I can't think of a good example. Like, it's stuff from middle school where, like, maybe I'd talk to someone online that I didn't know in real life, and I would fantasize what they would look like and all this stuff, and they become the perfect person when, in fact, you know, and I've never met that person in real life, but
I fall in love with people from, like, bands.
Yeah.
But, like even, like, not famous bands, like it's like local bands, and I'm just like.
But that really ups your chance of being able to have sex with them. So that's good.
But then I get scared and I don't talk to them ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, ignore that. Anyone from Seattle, you didn't hear it.
Yeah, my girlfriend performs, and when she's in love with, when she's on stage, I feel like I'm, like, falling in love with her, like, as a performer.
Yeah.
Not as, like, my girlfriend, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And then we get to go home together. It's great.
Cute.
Okay, Face of the Enemy. This is a great episode.
Yes.
Troy is captured and forced to masquerade as a Romulan intelligence officer in a plot to aid the defection of several high-ranking Romulan officers.
So good.
Tell me more.
So good.
Yeah.
Dude, Troy has no choice but to do what this guy says. And
he backs her into a corner, and she kind of, like, takes it away from him at a certain point.
She does. That's how she gets out of the whole mess. He gives her all of this power and demands to, like, that she do certain things with it, and she has to go along with it because she has no way off of this ship currently, right? So she just kind of has to bide her time and, like, do the things that he says, right? What are they trying to do? They're trying to sneak weapons.
They're trying to aid in the defection of several high-ranking Romulan officers. So in essence, like, their goals are her goals. They kind of kidnap her because she's Starfleet, and they know
but she would never achieve this way as Starfleet, right?
Yeah,
so they're kind of playing this dirty. So he's, like, trying to get her to do this stuff, but they have the same goals, and she has no choice but to really just to do it.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like, and the way she's, like, yelling at people and bringing her A game, like
she's a Romulan,
like, right? So, like, he's saying, like, you have to be convincing, and she's like, that's never a concern for her, is what I realized after watching it. She was never concerned about being convincing, because this is her job anyway. Like, if she's backed into a corner, she has to act her way out of a situation. She's gonna do it because she's a Starfleet officer.
She can read the room pretty well and know what people need to see.
Exactly. You know? So it's just, like, such a great use of her empath abilities. Like, just such great acting in it. She fucking brings it, like, telling people what to do, bossing, like, the, like, captain around and stuff. It was so dope. I loved this one.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
I loved this one.
I also, like, something that I just love that they do on Star Trek a lot, particularly on Deep Space Nine, is that sometimes you get to see the actors that play characters of one species play another species.
Yeah.
Like, we have already seen Picard and Data as Romulans. Now we're seeing Troy as a Romulan. In Deep Space Nine, you get to see a couple of the people as Klingons, and it's like a party to me. It's like, what would my favorite characters look like as Klingons? And then they do it with, you know, the best makeup that you'll ever get. I love it so much. Awesome. I really love it. Yeah. So I have so much
that's
joy
part of why you like
in this episode just from seeing her as a Romulan. I also think that the way that it starts, like a cold open of her waking up in a room and she's a Romulan and
We're
she has
figuring
no idea
it
why.
out. We're figuring it out with
what
her
the fuck?
too. Yeah,
It's such a
we have
good
no
start.
idea
I love it.
why she is that way. And I just also love that she like takes the power back from that dude and like forces him to like let her go basically because he gave her so much like power in the whole situation.
Yeah.
And he just expected her to like be freaked out and not, just do what he said, and when really she was just buying
She's just
his
like a
time.
boss.
Yeah, and she like flipped it on him, and he's like, "Oh no!" And like she got to go home and like get her face fixed, and it was all chill.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good. It was a good
Haley
one.
says canon fan fiction. I love that type of shit. I feel
Yeah.
like Doctor Who does stuff like that a lot.
Exactly.
Like,
oh,
what would
yeah,
you-
totally.
like, the Day of the Doctor is totally.
That is totally
canon
canon fan fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
what do I want to see more than anything? Matt Smith and David Tennant at the same time
Oh,
playing the Doctor.
God.
That's what I want.
The 50th anniversary was just
It was so
good.
What did you think about the latest season, season 10?
I haven't watched it.
Okay.
Capaldi kind of lost me a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
I figured out why now that I've have some distance from it. If we could just do a little sidebar
Yeah, let's do
here.
a sidebar. Doctor Who sidebar. We're taking a break.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a short break because I need to get this off my chest in
Yeah.
public. Like, okay, so like I haven't seen any of the newest Companion. I kind of stopped watching after season 8, which I think that they're like starting season 10 or 11.
11.
They're starting season 11.
I think season 10 just finished. I might be wrong about
So
that.
I've been out like for a while, and
Okay. So you only saw one season of Capaldi.
no, I guess I saw 2. I guess I
Okay.
did see season 9, the
I
one where
think
they get
that's season
shrunk.
9. Yeah.
That's a good season. There's good stuff happening in it. I
Yeah.
like the adventures.
Clara's second season.
Yes.
With Capaldi.
With
Capaldi's
Capaldi.
second season is a way easier way of saying that. It's like Clara's like third season, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, good stories in that. I really liked like the shrinking episode where they're into the Dalek, and I
Yeah.
loved the heist one. Like there's some really good stuff that really sticks out in my mind.
Is that season? That might be season 8.
It might be season
think
8.
that's season
That's
8.
the last season I watched. No, I probably saw some of the ones after that too, but like that's what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah.
remember them because
Okay.
they were forgettable.
Well, season 9, there's stuff that happens. The last 3 episodes are like some of the, did you ever see the Doctor like in a castle for forever?
The one
By
where
himself?
like he has to punch his way
Okay,
out of the
that's
thing.
That's definitely season 9.
Right. Okay.
if
So
I'm
I think
remembering
I
my
saw
numbers right,
season
yeah.
9.
Okay,
I saw
cool.
season 9, but I barely remember
love
any of it.
season
That
9.
episode
I
was
love
very
it.
good,
Love
and there
it.
was some good stuff. There's always good stuff. I
Yeah.
will always love Doctor Who,
Yeah.
and I do plan on watching what I haven't seen. I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
And like my big issue with Capaldi, who's an amazing actor, and he was so good in Children of Men. So
I haven't
good in
seen
Children of Men from Torchwood. But he's a great doctor, and I enjoy what he did with it. But ultimately, what I love about Doctor Who is the wonder of it,
Yeah.
the wonder of the universe. And
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit of that is lost with the Capaldi Doctor. Because,
I hear ya. Yeah.
because Tennant and Smith were distinctly different doctors, but they both had this like, look at how freaking
Yeah.
incredible
Eccleston.
this is. And so did Eccleston. He's like,
Yeah.
the first episode where he goes on an actual adventure with Rose, which I believe is the second episode.
Yeah, where they go to the future.
They go to watch the Earth burn
Yeah.
or whatever, and he's like, dude, check this out. Like even Eccleston has that. Like, and I feel like a
Yeah,
lot of
absolutely.
the wonder is lost, and I think that that's what people cherish about Doctor Who the most.
Well, for me, for what I cherish about Doctor Who that Capaldi has, and I do cherish that, and I
Yeah.
do miss that, and I'm actually ready to move on.
Yeah.
I love Capaldi
I
so
really hope
much,
the new
but
Doctor
I'm
will
ready
bring
to
some of
move
that
on.
wonder back.
I'm ready to move on from Stephen Moffat. I think that it's time for a new showrunner.
I don't know. Maybe his ideas are run out. I can't really make a real call on that until I see the rest of what I've missed.
Yeah,
But like,
I love Stephen Moffat.
but yeah,
but
he
his
did a
years-
really good job.
He's run like half the show, and Russell T Davies ran like the first half.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like part of like the B movie nature of Doctor Who that kind of takes it to this extra height of emotion for me
Yeah.
has been absent in the Stephen Moffat years.
In
'Cause
the later Stephen Moffat years.
it looks like
Yeah.
it looks really good and it looks really clean, but part of me
I don't
kinda
think
misses
that
the
needs.
clunkiness
It doesn't
of the earlier
need that.
stuff.
It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't
clean.
need to be clean. Absolutely,
And I
agree.
really
Yeah.
love. I hope that he keeps doing Sherlock.
Yeah.
I really want more of that.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be for a long time, but like still.
Totally. I love him Colby, would I let the doctor kidnap me? Like, fuck yes, 1,000%.
I have had
yes.
that dream.
I know. Can he kidnap
so
me is my
many times.
question. I would love that.
Please.
The only alien
I will
abduction.
leave all of these people behind.
The only alien abduction that's cool with both of us is the doctor
that's
abducting
the only
us.
one.
Yeah. So I adore like Stephen Moffat's seasons. I love it all, but I'm just like I was frustrated with the way that season 10 kind of went. And it felt like rehashing to me. It felt of other plot lines, and emotionally it wasn't very satisfying.
Right.
And I just didn't quite sit right with me. I know Evan's here. Evan loved it. I don't know. Maybe because I haven't seen the Mendosian Cybermen from way back in the day. I had no attachment to it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's
no
okay.
spoilers.
But anyway,
because I am
no
going to go
spoilers.
back and watch it.
I just like it left me with a weird taste in my mouth. But I'm really looking forward to the Christmas special because I love Capaldi.
I love the Christmas
specials. I really want
specials
the last
every
episode
time,
with
though.
Capaldi to like satisfy me. You know, I really want that.
He's a good doctor.
I love
just
him.
not my favorite as the doctor.
You know, he's my third favorite, which is still very high because I love the doctor so much.
It's gonna be Tennant, Smith, Eccleston.
Boom.
Capaldi.
Oh, Eccleston, then Capaldi.
Yeah.
I put Capaldi above Eccleston.
I don't.
I do.
He's the reason I fell in love with Doctor Who.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, Evan missed that. I was just saying I know you loved the season finale of Doctor Who, and I wasn't as wild about it.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, next episode.
Okay. That was a great break, you guys. A little Doctor Who break. Let's get back into this shit. Next is, I love this episode. Tapestry.
Is this the one where Q kidnaps him and he's like a kid again?
Yeah.
And he's like dead.
It's a Wonderful
But we know
Life.
he can't be dead.
Picard and Q. Yeah. After being attacked on an away mission, Picard dies and meets Q in the afterlife, who offers him the chance to change a crucial moment in his history and prevent the mistakes he made in his youth.
Right.
Love it.
It was a good one.
Love it.
It was a good one. I think that I don't like Q that much. And I don't forget the God character thing that I used to say. I think that I've grown past that.
Yeah.
Because we have been doing this for a while, and I think just as a person, I'm like past that whole God character thing. I just don't think I like him as a character that much.
Yeah. I like him. I dislike him as a character, but I love him as a foil for Picard. I love the way that he kind of forces Picard to reveal things about himself by being a mischievous fucker. You know?
Right.
And then Picard is kind of forced to, in this episode in particular, forced to look at his own like mischievous impulses that he has kind of let go to be this very serious man.
I did love finding out what a little flipper he was.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He's the exact opposite of what you'd expect him to be.
He was a little...
He's like Captain Kirk when he was younger, and he just kind of like mellowed out a lot because of this experience where he gets stabbed in the heart. He like mellows out and doesn't want to be, this crazy risk taker anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so interesting, like to take that out of his life and then see that he just becomes this lieutenant commander who's like a science officer on the bridge, and he's wearing a blue uniform, which is another thing I love. Is when you see people wear the wrong colored uniform.
It's so
I love it.
Weird. It is
totally.
so weird.
Like Data in a red uniform, it blows my mind.
And wasn't Jellicles or whatever the captain?
Captain Jellicoe?
Yeah.
Was he in this one?
Who was the captain in this?
I don't remember seeing the captain.
I don't think it shows it, but they say his name.
Oh, did they?
Riker says his name.
Oh my God. Is it Jellicoe?
I think so. It doesn't
say.
If anyone out there knows, Evan, do you know who the captain was in the Tapestry? Who the captain was supposed to be?
Yeah, in the alternate
future.
Because
I don't think that they show him, but I think that they mention him.
Evan says, "I'm surprised we didn't agree, but it's okay for me to be wrong sometimes." Me as in me. He said you to me. That's funny. That's true. It is very okay for me to be wrong, and I'm wrong a lot. So that works out great. Yeah, I don't see... I'm like looking in the extra notes here on the episode.
I think that it's Jellicoe.
Oh, continuity. Here we go. This is where it would say.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I love how like Picard is supposed to be like this spineless kind of forgettable dude because he didn't get stabbed in the heart.
Which is interesting. Like, I can't find that.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
I love this episode.
Check it
anyway,
out.
So
I'm pretty sure it's Jellicoe.
Yeah, it's interesting the idea that if he didn't take that chance, then he would be...
He'd be a lame
like,
one.
A coward forever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't buy any of that. I feel like that was just Q.
That's Q,
just
though.
fucking with him.
Yeah.
Totally. But I love it as a story, it's like so compelling, and watching this man that you've grown to love over 6 years, like examine this aspect of his psyche that we never knew existed, and see how it integrates into him as a person.
Right.
It's just such brilliant character writing. And like the reason that this is still my favorite show is because like the way that they intertwine the way things feel with like the future, you know, is so compelling to me. I just, you know, want to live in the future and live in this Star Trek universe so bad. And they really
me
like
too.
paint it so well, and you feel it so much, and especially in episodes like this. And I love it. I fucking love it.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That
It's
might
not
be-
up. It's not up there. It's not going to be a top for me, but that's mostly
It's
because
definitely in my
Cube,
top 5
like-
now. We're gonna go back to the end. I'll figure this out.
Sure it is.
Oh shit! Birthright Part 1, Episode 16. At Deep Space Nine, Worf investigates reports that his father is still alive. An engineering accident causes Data to experience a vision of Dr. Soong. So, 2 things are happening. We're doing the crossover with Deep Space Nine. Oh no! Oh no! And then the other thing is Data is dreaming.
The dream stuff.
Yeah, the dream stuff. All right, what do you think?
So good. I love the dream stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Wait, before we
so
dive into this,
trippy.
Colby asked, if we were to embark on a mission in space, which captain/character would you prefer to lead the trip? I want to go on an adventure romp led by Geordi LaForge.
I knew you were going to say that.
I wrote a song about that when I was
I want to be. Would it have to be a mission? Like, if I had like a dream thing that happened to me, it would be like, it's in Star Trek. It would have to be like me with a small away team on some planet, like trying to figure something out, like trying to get out of a thing. Because I really liked the episode where with Beverly, Riker, and Data, and Geordi is injured. And that's when they're like fumigating the ship, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I would like to be on like something like that.
That episode is so
and
good.
like the episode,
Starship Mine. Holy fuck,
I
I'll
would
get
like to
that.
take over Geordi's spot in that. So I
Yeah.
think I would love to be like in that episode. Like,
You want to be in a room where you're held captive and you have to think of a way to get out of it?
yeah,
You want to be in an escape room for Romulans, basically.
yeah, but I wouldn't be. I would be with Beverly and Riker
Absolutely.
and Data.
And you're safe with them.
Yeah.
My mission, I would want to go on some sort of like one of those episodes where there's like an ancient civilization, like Contagion in
That is
season
so
2,
like you.
where like it's this crazy race where you have to find this artifact that's going to show you this technology.
Right.
There's another one like that in season 7, actually. And then there's the is it the chase? I think in this season where there's another episode like that. So I do that a couple times. I want to go on one of those.
Yeah.
But it's just like me, Geordi, Data, and Ensign Rowe. No. Yes. And Chief O'Brien.
You are so weird. Those are weird people to pick. That's ragtag shit, though. That would be a good episode. Yeah.
It would be great. And I'm just like some stowaway, and like the end of the episode is that I'm inspired to join Starfleet. After hanging out with
Would
these
you
people.
be the hero or the guy helping the hero?
I think we're both the guy helping the hero.
I want to be helping. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
These are great
Yeah,
questions.
Colby, great
Colby.
questions.
These
Well
are
done.
fun. Yeah.
Well done. So, okay, so how do we feel? Let's talk about these 2 things. We got the crossover with Deep Space Nine. So for me, the big deal about that was that Deep Space Nine hasn't been remastered on HD. So to get to see Deep Space Nine itself, like the space station in HD and like all of its glory was so exciting for me. It
That was
so
really
exciting.
cool.
I was really into that.
I haven't seen Deep Space Nine yet, but I did know what was happening.
Yeah.
Because at this point, no, it hasn't happened yet, but there's a doctor that is on Deep Space Nine, right?
A doctor?
Yeah, I think.
Dr. Bashir?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So I'm like starting to see that they're starting to do like the crossover universe stuff.
That guy is the main doctor in Deep Space Nine. The guy who's in this episode.
I knew that somehow. I think
Yeah.
you must have told me that or something. But
Maybe, yeah.
Because I've never seen a single episode.
Oh,
of Deep
interesting.
Space.
So that's your introduction to Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
right there.
so I'm
Dr.
like
Bashir's
excited.
Awesome. I love
I'm really
Dr. Bashir.
excited because it gives me that feeling that I got when Buffy and Angel started running together.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I love that.
Well, yeah, these shows were running concurrently this year.
I love stuff
Season
like
6
that.
is when that happened.
So
Like,
I
Deep Space
kind
Nine
of want
premiered
to
this year.
start just watching Deep Space Nine.
You should, absolutely.
but we'll see.
But I want to get to. I love to do episode 100.
I want to get episode 100, so I think I'm going to
so
concentrate on that. Yeah.
There isn't any more real crossover besides what you've already seen.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
But but there is crossover on the Deep Space Nine side where you get to see something happen with Picard in it in the very first episode from Sisko's point of view, and you get to see. I think when this episode happened, I think you saw an episode of Deep Space Nine where the Enterprise was parked there. So I think that you saw that in both episodes, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
You see Deep Space Nine on both episodes? Is that what you're saying?
I think the crossover went both ways. Where on Deep Space Nine you saw the Enterprise parked there.
Okay.
I think I can't remember that for sure.
That sounds like a thing
Evan
that they should have done. Knowing the answer to your question regarding Tapestry is beyond the parameters that I have that have been set within boundaries of my positronic matrix.
Dude, I think Evan's an android.
You should get that looked at because I feel like you're supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, totally.
So
I mean, I couldn't do it.
Just saying.
But I'm just a human.
Yeah.
I feel like an android should be able to do it.
You are human.
Human. And then, so what else was happening there?
So
Worf is investigating reports that his father's still alive.
And then he gets imprisoned.
Yeah.
But it's like a really nice prison.
Yeah.
Right.
Where there's like a sexy Klingon woman that he falls for.
And they're like in love, like right away, which I wish would ever happen to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part 2 of this, which is a really interesting episode. Which let's talk about this first.
No, read the other part.
Okay, we'll do it all at once. We'll read the other part.
Yeah, that's what we did for the other one.
Yeah, I liked it. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Part 2 is that in the Romulan prison camp, Worf teaches the Klingon children about their culture. So Worf gets captured at the end of this episode because he goes to this planet looking for his father, Moog, who might still be alive after the Kittimer massacre, but in actuality is not, but was at this camp. And there's this whole society of Klingons there that have kind of forgotten what it is to be Klingon because they've kind of fallen in love with their captors a little bit.
Yeah, they got all Stockholmy.
Getting in touch with what it means to be Klingon.
But it makes sense that the reasons that they stayed make sense to me because in their culture, they're disgraced. So there's really nothing out there for them.
Yeah.
They could, rather than die, just live in comfort with your new, Romulan husband and or whatever, fine, whatever. I do enjoy that they let the kids go.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, but I think the daughter stayed.
I think that the way that they wrapped it up was really great. I think they did a cool thing with that. I loved seeing all these Klingons learn about their culture and sing their own songs for the first time. I really have a soft spot for these Klingon episodes. I know you love Klingon stuff. The culture of it kind of reminds me nothing about the violent nature of Klingons, but just the songs of the Klingons.
We might, Evan. We might get more episodes, Deep Space Nine episodes. We'll see how we feel about it.
Yeah. I'm down if you're down. You let me know.
I think I'm down. Yeah.
It's going to probably depend on whether or not Deep Space Nine speaks to you and you want to keep watching it.
I guess I'll just watch a few episodes and then we'll decide. But I have a good feeling about it because I heard it's more soap opera-y. Which I'm super into.
It takes a few years to get there, though, but it does get there.
If you were stuck in a jail cell when a mission goes bad, who do you think you'd want to be in there with?
I would want to be in there with
Data.
That dude from season 2 who was genetically modified who broke out of jail.
Oh, that goober.
you had a big crush on that guy, right? Yeah. That goober. Well, I don't remember his name. You've seen this one.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Katie's still hanging in there.
Yeah. So what about Data's dreams?
Data's dreams are so cool.
I think it's pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Really weird, but I enjoy it.
Oh my gosh. Androids don't dream of electric sheep. They dream of
they dream of
their
fathers
crows
and
their
anvils.
fathers and anvils and all this stuff. And I do like how they wrapped it up. Because I was like, wow, is he really learning to dream? And I got really excited. But it was software that his dad left in there.
Yeah, it triggered this software so that all of a sudden he could experience
the doctor's
his dream.
experiment accidentally hit Data and it triggered
it early. Where, he was supposed to develop to the point where he'd start dreaming naturally, but he was triggered early, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of saying that Data's development is
nowhere near complete.
He is an adolescent in android years.
Yeah.
Which is something that we'll talk about.
Absolutely, because there's another episode.
Yeah. I like both halves of this. I feel like it doesn't feel like a two-parter to me. It feels like two distinct episodes.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy them both. I think the first half is maybe a little stronger than the second half. Well, maybe not stronger, but more entertaining. I think it's more of a romp, and I love that. So in the second half, is more kind of like a slow, dramatic episode, and that felt like a weird juxtaposition to me
Right.
to have those episodes be paired. But that's my only complaint. I like them both. You know,
Yeah.
I think if you make it not a two-parter and just individual episodes where they happened to hand off the torch from the end of one to the next, I would
Right,
like
yeah.
both episodes more.
Totally. And they could have made the content of each one more relevant to itself, so it's a little more cohesive. So
Yeah, Colby
again,
thinks,
that's my problem with two-parters. You know,
yeah.
It's
Colby
hard to
thinks
do.
that an android dreaming would have to be programmed and not natural. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like if you think about,
I
like,
think
our
that was
brains,
kind of the point of the end of the episode, where it did
It
end up
was
being
gonna-
software. So
it
you
was
know.
software, but he was supposed to develop into it. And what does that mean? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And at the same time, like, if that software wasn't there, could he develop into it without it? Because his brain is constantly writing all these, like, heuristic algorithms
Right.
and nonsense.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's like that
Yeah.
old debate that we've been talking about since season 1. Does Data actually have emotions? But
Yeah,
he doesn't,
dude, he does.
But he doesn't qualify them the way that we do.
Yeah, he just doesn't know. He doesn't have the language for them, which is something we find out
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, totally. And this
yeah.
is something that I've been dying to talk to you about.
Yeah.
We'll get to at the end of this episode, which is the emotion chip. All that stuff.
You mean this season?
This podcast episode, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Sorry. Oh, next is episode 19, Lessons. I love this one.
He
Picard,
makes out with that girl.
yeah. Picard
Bruh.
falls in love with one of his subordinates, but he can't deal with having to order her into dangerous situations.
And he
Love
sends her away. No, she decides to
She
leave.
decides to leave, yeah.
Because she's dope and nobody tells her what to do.
I feel like of all of the women that we've seen Picard with, like Vash and Vash, I feel like this girl is the right match for him.
Yeah,
you know?
she was cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a bummer that they were both like, no, we're both going to pick our careers. Bye.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
speaks a lot to their characters. It's really interesting. I think that anyone... I feel like it can speak to a lot of people. Like, if you've ever fallen in love with someone who it feels like it's taking you away from what you want with your life,
Yeah.
I think that's very difficult. And
Sure, yeah.
It seemed like in this situation, it might have been timing, maybe, that was bad. But I think that for both of these characters, I think for Picard, the only way that he can really get married is if it's someone who's not in Starfleet.
Yeah.
And, like, it may be a teacher who lives on the ship or
It would
something.
have to be. I don't
Yeah.
think he could be married to somebody who works with him, because anyone that he's going to be attracted to is going to be too driven to be kept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like this woman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's really, really cool. Yo, Jermacion, welcome. Totally
If
a
you
change
had
of
to
pace
be,
tonight.
if you had to be romantic with a character, who would it be? Data. Data.
That's a good question.
It's always Data for me. It's just always going to be Data.
I'm like 100% Counselor Troy in a fistful of datas.
Yes, that is optimal Troy.
Yeah, that's
Optimal Troy.
optimal Troy. She knows what it means. Yeah, so I love this episode. I love the music in this episode. That's what really sets this one apart to me, is that
Yeah.
as a musician, I feel like they captured the feeling of sharing music with a romantic partner
Yeah.
better in this episode than I've seen in anything else.
Right.
And that's so cool. They bring back that Resican flute music from The Inner Light that I adore. Like, that's one of my favorite
And
melodies.
their cute little rendition of Frere Jacques.
It's so cute. They're like
Oh,
in the Jeffries
I
tube
love
playing
it.
music for each
So
other.
good.
It's so good.
So sappy, so good.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love this episode. It's really sad. It's got great dramatic tension and like
Yeah.
a sad ending, but overall, brilliantly written. I love it. I love that they do like drama sometimes and tragedy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like a minor tragedy in the scheme of the universe of Star Trek that these two people can't be together, but you feel it because like you love their bond so much
Yeah,
throughout the episode. I love
totally.
it. I think it's great.
And I love her little piano that's just like
the
a
one
pad.
from Big.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
Last time we saw that piano,
Like
Tom Hanks was dancing on it.
I was like, that wouldn't work, right?
Yeah,
It might.
totally.
They're in the future.
Totally.
The chase was tedious to me.
The chase.
Yeah.
Picard tries to finish his old archaeology teacher's monumental last mission, solving a puzzle that leads humans, Romulans, Klingons, and Cardassians to the secret of life in the galaxy, revealing the origin of humanoid life.
Yeah.
And also kind of retconning why everyone in this galaxy kind of looks like a human.
Yeah.
This episode is bizarre.
It's about panspermia.
Panspermia, yeah, in the galaxy.
That's, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yum.
I'm hungry.
I know we're close. We're almost there.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm fine. But yeah, it was just a little tedious to me. I don't particularly remember much about it. It's a nice message. It's cool, but
yeah,
I thought that was a real beehole move on the archaeologist's part. To,
like to pressure Picard into going with him.
Yeah,
that was a weird
jerk.
story. I felt uncomfortable with the whole story about Picard's mentor coming back and not being an understanding person and then dying.
They had to do it that way so that
so Picard would be motivated to go on his quest,
and also so that the whole ship would be able to go on this mission. You know what I mean?
Yes,
because otherwise it was just like a personal thing.
Perspective, like why they did it. Yeah,
yes, that's what I mean. Story wise, like I get that.
Yeah, totally.
But it just didn't really yank my chain.
Yeah, I actually kind of feel you on this one. I like this episode just fine, but this is one that I didn't see as a kid. The first, there was like 2 or 3 episodes in the whole series that I'd never seen when I bought the series on DVD when I was in my early 20s. And I'd been watching the show since I was like 4 years old, I think. So I was shocked to find out there was episodes I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
This was one of them, and it's kind of a big deal for the universe of Star Trek to say that there's this progenitor race that all of these species come from. But
what does
it's like
change?
Big news that changes nothing, that they don't talk about. Like, I don't think they ever mention this again, like in the rest of Star Trek canon. And it just seems like retconning
like
to me.
Like nobody cared.
Yeah, like I don't need to know why all the species look kind of similar and have 2 arms and 2 legs and foreheads and stuff of various varieties. Like I don't need to know that. I don't like that kind of retconning,
Yeah, it feels lazy.
But I did enjoy it. I did like the romp nature of like going on an adventure, like that sort of Hitchhiker's Guide style. We're going throughout the galaxy looking for shit.
They could have done more with that, though.
I agree. I feel like they did not reach
that would have been the strength of that episode, and they didn't.
If the archaeologist
they glossed over
this,
it,
like fun character, and there's some
sent
other
them on
reason,
this wacky
and they're
journey,
going together, and he's like played by like John Lithgow or something. Classic. Would have been great.
That would have been so
and I'm
good.
Kind of perpetually upset that John Lithgow wasn't in that episode. No, Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey motherfucking Grammer.
No.
Because Kelsey Grammer's already been on the show before.
I know.
And maybe because like his ship was stuck in the past for so long, he decided he didn't want to be a captain anymore, so he went to archaeology, and then he comes back. I've already written the episode. It's already written. We need to fix it and remake it.
But you could
easily
just take the.
But Kelsey Grammer has to be in it.
You could easily take that same concept and
let's raise $1 million and make this.
John Lithgow or whatever.
Yeah, but it's.
I see
Kelsey
Lithgow
Grammer.
in this. I see him more as a wacky.
Oh, Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey motherfucking Grammer.
I can see your grammar boner from here.
I got a hard on for for some beast. Frame of mind. Riker thinks he is losing his mind when reality keeps shifting between an alien hospital and the Enterprise where he is rehearsing a play.
This is messed up.
It's fucking crazy.
It is so messed up, dude.
Yeah. The most perfect alien would be more deadly than us. We are too squishy. We're fairly squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like meat bags.
Yeah, we are bags of mostly water.
Yeah. Just water meat.
That's from season 1.
Oh, cool. Well quoted, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
I know this show pretty well.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
We started talking really quietly.
Frame of mind.
Frame of mind. This episode is scary. Riker is finds himself in this insane asylum, basically on another planet that we don't recognize, and can't decide if he's crazy or if this is all an imaginary scenario based off of a play that he's rehearsing.
Yeah. So he's rehearsing this play, and basically the same thing keeps happening. Like the thing
Reality
keeps happening.
Keeps breaking.
Yeah, it keeps breaking apart, and it gets very scary for him. And they even try to rescue him at one point.
Yeah, which is all.
But he was undercover. He was under deep cover, and then they didn't want to let him go, right?
That's right. He was under.
He got caught under deep cover.
He got caught under deep cover. So what's actually happened is he was caught under deep cover, and then they wiped his mind with some drugs and tried to convince him that he was insane to get information out of him about the Enterprise.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's
then,
what happened.
There's this rescue mission. They come and get him out and bring him back to the ship. And he's back to reality. So the whole thing was real the whole time, and they used the play to kind of frame it all with their fake mind control stuff. It's very frightening. sort of plot that like being in Starfleet means that maybe someone will kidnap you and use your own memory to torture you into revealing secrets about your
being
friends.
in Starfleet, he had a strong enough mind that's why his brain kept trying to mess with the scenario.
Yeah.
And like try to wake him up by like making things suddenly not make sense. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So like his brain kept being like, no, dude, this isn't real. Like, got to snap out of it, man.
Yeah. And as the audience, my problem with this episode, it's the same problem I have when like Buffy did this, when Smallville did this, when they try to convince characters they're in an insane asylum, and the whole like series that we've been watching for 6 years is like imaginary in that one character's mind.
Yeah.
We've seen the whole series. Like we've seen the whole series
happen. So there's nothing
happen.
at stake.
Right.
There's nothing really at stake.
Buffy's the only one that actually left it open to interpretation where maybe it is actually all in her mind, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like in Smallville actually, did you see the episode of Smallville where they did this?
No.
Clark Kent was in an insane asylum, and the one of the clues for him or like one of the clues was that he was making everything up was that his soap was named Jor-El, which is his father's name.
Yeah.
So on Krypton. So they're like, all the things from Krypton were all stuff that he'd seen in real life and made up to be from Krypton, and the soap was the one, like Jor-El soap. I thought that was so funny. Like it's just like such a hilarious name for soap. Yeah.
Like Purell.
Colby says you'd think with a ship that can travel faster than light, you would have better armor and less threats of death.
Well, how much do you think they can carry around, dude?
I mean, yeah, it's a good point, but also like, how much can you prepare for when you're running into
and
all of these
technically
things?
They're not even like supposed to be a battleship, right?
Right, they're a ship of exploration. They kind of walk around with their front door unlocked.
Yeah,
they're that type of people.
Yeah, that does sound dangerous, but you know that's part of their thing.
Like, if you try to break into my house, I'm going to lock my door and shoot you with a photon torpedo. But
jeez, dude.
Well, I'm being Starfleet.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't have photon torpedoes.
I was going to say, how?
Okay, next up, we got Suspicions, episode 22. Dr. Crusher violates Starfleet regulations and medical ethics when she investigates the death of a Ferengi scientist.
Dope. I liked this one a lot.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And they figured out how to go into the sun.
Yeah. They got that metaphasic shield to work.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
But she just wanted people to stop being so freaking racist.
Yeah.
And like, she's like, so what? He's a Ferengi scientist. He figured out this amazing thing, and you guys are being total jerks about it.
Yeah.
And like, then he died, and it became very important to her to like be
it's
like,
the same
listen,
as the chase.
You racist
it's
weirdos.
It's the same story as the chase.
Why is it so much cooler?
It's way cooler this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because metaphasic shielding is awesome. You fly really close to the sun.
They can breach the corona.
Yeah.
That's
sounded dirty.
Crazy.
Yeah. My only... Oh, nice. We got a Star Trek command.
Who's
I like
that?
it. From Swag, one of our mods. So now if you type command Star Trek, Nightbot will give you a message.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there from...
Thank you.
About me getting killed by people in Mario Maker.
Oh.
Well, by people, I mean like Goombas and Koopas and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's very fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my one thing with this episode that I think holds it back a little bit is the framing of the story plot device, where Dr. Crusher is like hanging out with Guinan and telling her what happened. I would have just preferred to see it happen. I think I would have just preferred to see the story progress linearly. And then she goes
you
to
don't
meet
like
Guinan.
the storytelling device. Got it.
Because the only reason they did that is so that the cold open could have this cliffhanger of her saying she's not in Starfleet anymore.
Yeah, but now we know there are no stakes again.
Exactly. Like I didn't buy those stakes at all. If it was happening in the episode, I might have bought it. You know.
Right.
I never would have bought it. But if it was happening in the episode, I think it would have been closer to me buying it than otherwise. So that story device, the way it was framed, I feel like kind of did a disservice to the story a little bit.
I can see that.
But I love Crusher-centric
episodes. And it was
kind
of cheesy because, like, Guinan...
She's, like, gabbing to Guinan in this cheesy way.
But no, it's not just that. Like, the ending, like, the wrap-up. She's like, well, I got you a new tennis racket. And Guinan's like, I don't play tennis. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
You know, like... Oh,
there's
you
Guinan
kooky girl.
Making up some excuse to come, like, trick you into talking about your feelings again.
Crazy, shifty Guinan.
I love her so much.
Yeah, me too.
I love Guinan. I love that it's always, her only goal ever is to get you to talk about your feelings.
Yeah, that's dope.
And she's so good at it.
She's a good friend.
Troy's there for that too, but I feel like Guinan's even better at it. Guinan is yo, Paula, what's up? Guinan says that Guinan, I can't speak English. That's so funny, I can't say it.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. Paula says that Guinan is the ship's Jiminy Cricket. That's so funny.
Cruising on the edge of a black hole. Sick idea. Yeah, that's a cool idea.
That was a great idea. Yeah. It was cool. That part of the episode was cool. Yeah, I like this episode. It's so rare that we get a Crusher episode.
Yeah.
And I want, like, I wish I could get, 2 or 3 episodes for everyone per season.
This
is something that's hard for this show to work out.
Yeah. The season, though, like, has them doing some really cool stuff, too, though. And, like, Crusher's just, like, had to relieve the captain of duty when he became a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, she had, just stuff like that. Like, I don't know. She, like, I just love that they've been doing more like, official stuff.
She takes command, but I think that's next season. That's the first episode next season, right? That you watched?
Yes, and we're going to talk about it. I don't care if it's the next season because
we're going to talk about it tonight. Yeah, we're going to go one episode over.
Yeah,
and we'll remind people what we said next time. But
yeah,
we're going to go one episode over
previously
because Jeff has watched the first episode of season 7, and I want to talk about it with him.
Because I was so sucked in, and I didn't realize it was happening because of Netflix continuous play.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
that makes me really happy. Actually, I just want everyone to love this show with all of their hearts. Okay, next up we got Rightful Heir at the Klingon monastery on Boreth. Worf sees a very real vision of Kahless the Unforgettable.
And because it is
being called Kahless the Unforgettable. So yeah, Kahless reappears. Kahless is like basically Klingon Jesus.
He's their messiah.
Right off the bat, I love the fact that this starts with Worf going on a religious retreat to get back in touch with his religious side that he feels like he's lost touch with.
Right.
Such an interesting thing to do with the character because no one else on the ship is religious that we've ever seen. And actually, it's kind of presented as a post-religion society. So I love the fact that like Worf's religion was still very respected.
And very much intact.
Yeah.
For most of their race.
Yeah. And he gets to go, on this retreat. He gets to take time off to go to this monastery and hang out and like pray for visions of Kahless, who does eventually appear through some science mumbo jumbo.
Well, it's cloned.
Yeah, he's cloned. Yeah, they found the original DNA of Kahless somehow
on the knife, the ancient knife.
On the sword of Kahless.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
Right. Fuck yeah, filling in my memory holes. Thank you. Like totally.
Bones took less crap than Crusher does. I've never seen that show.
Yeah, Bones is the doctor on the original series. Bones gave so much crap to everyone that no one had a chance to give him crap. So I agree. I agree with your statement. Yeah, I think that's true.
Cool.
Paula, I'm stoked that you're hanging out. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so there was the blood on the ancient knife or whatever, and they clone him, and they have to figure out, like, because they're like scared because half of society is going to believe that it's Kahless and the other half is going to be like, this is nonsense and it's going to cause like war and stuff because Klingons are. So I posted about this on Facebook. This is when I posted about it.
Oh, cool.
They are so dramatic.
They are.
Calm it
I was wondering which episode you were on. That's
calm
awesome.
It down.
Bye, Swag.
Dude.
Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah. Klingons, calm down.
Yeah, just like calm down, dude. It's fine. But they figure it out. They're like, okay, well, we'll just tell people the truth and just assure them that trust us. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, Kahless. And he's good at, like, uniting people. So just let him be the emperor and rule the people. And all of the real decisions will be made by, like, the
Make him the queen of
Parliament
England.
Or whatever. Yeah,
the clone of Kahless is now the queen
of England.
Of Kronos.
Of Klingon England.
Klingon England.
So,
Klingland.
like, Klingland.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think that it was
a cool idea. It was well written. It was interesting.
Totally.
I just don't
intriguing.
really care for Klingon-centric episodes, I think, either.
I think at this point in the series, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I like the backstory about the Klingons. I like that the Klingons are very anachronistic in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And they're so like stuck in their ways and stuck in the past while being this kind of warring spacefaring society. I just think it's so interesting. There's so many, things that don't seem to make sense on the surface, but when you look at them,
aggressive.
Like the way, and like that building that aggression into the culture of the society, I think is so fascinating.
Yeah,
where that aggression really kind of dictates how a lot of the society is run, and there's so much respect and honor and all of that tied down to that aggression because I think that they know that they're a hot-headed people. Like the Romulans are a hot-headed people.
Yeah.
They run hot as people emotionally. So they've developed this way to like expel those feelings as Klingons. You know, that's what it is to be a Klingon, is like this whole kind of polite society of killing each other.
Yeah, but it's like...
And it's like the only thing that works for them because they're such an aggressive people. Whereas the Romulans have like resorted to, you know, all this like subterfuge and lying and deceit and all this stuff, and they seem like such a negative race.
Right.
Whereas the Klingons actually seem very like a positive race in a lot of ways.
There's,
even though
there's
they're
corruption though.
Yeah, they're very corrupt. But like the spiritual side of the people seems like very intact.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Sure.
Like the governmental aspects are bonkers and
Yeah.
ridiculous, and it gets even crazier in Deep Space Nine. All right, moving on. We good? We good?
Yeah, totally.
Second Chances, Season 6, Episode 24, The Enterprise. The
I'm
Enterprise
so hungry.
finds a second Will Riker. The Enterprise finds a second Will Riker on a planet that he helped evacuate 8 years ago.
So that freaking teleporter did a thing, right?
Yeah, we got an accidental
Yeah.
clone of Will Riker, which we come to refer to as Thomas by the end of this episode.
Yeah, because it's his middle
Or
name.
by the middle of this episode,
Yeah.
totally, because it's his middle name.
No,
So,
it's by the end of the episode.
oh, you're right, it is the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he comes back in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, Thomas Riker.
Cool.
Yeah, he's up to some shit, let me tell you.
Don't say anything.
I won't. I love this episode.
It's a good one. I like it. I like seeing him and Troy together again.
I love it. It picks up a story thread that was dropped in Season 1.
Yeah.
You know, like the story thread of Imzadi and Riker and Troy and what was happening there. And then you meet this version of Riker who didn't, give up on love for his career.
Yeah.
And the thought that held him together while he was stuck on this planet alone
was Counselor Troy.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful love story.
And she's like, Beverly's like, go for it, girl. She's like, okay, what the heck?
She's like totally into it.
Yeah.
And reawakens this part of her that's into it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see that our Riker that we've been watching on the show for 6 years is, you know, like one decision away from having this like epic love with Troy. And I think that he fucked up.
Yeah.
I think that like the story of Riker is that like throughout the run of the show, he doesn't like he keeps making choices to better himself in the way that he thinks that his career is supposed to go.
Right.
But they're wrong for him, you know?
Right. Like he didn't take his own command.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's him starting to accept the fact that maybe he shouldn't be in charge, you know?
Maybe,
I think that like, when we meet the character, he's on this upward trajectory where he's been like working up through the ranks really quickly. He's really young for a commander. They offer him a captaincy really fast. And I think that some sort of like self-doubt creeps into him at that point.
Yeah.
But before that self-doubt is when he breaks up with Troy because he's on this career trajectory when he's a commander. Like that's when I think it's because of his promotion that he
That's why
breaks up
he
with
got
Troy, isn't
that's
it?
exactly why.
Yeah.
He got off of the ship that they had evacuated and it made this copy of him that is still like from that moment, and he just spends all of those years on that ship, right? And so
and then right after
meanwhile, so meanwhile our Riker has gotten back from the evacuation and everything, and then he gets offered a new position, and he's like, "Oh, you know, I know we said we were going to go on vacation or whatever,
that's it.
but like I gotta do this thing." And Troy's like, "Wow, you really want this?" And I'm really chill, like, go for it because I have my career too, but that's kind of a bummer.
But maybe our careers are taking us away from being together.
Yeah, exactly.
And Riker is the one who kind of initializes that.
Yeah.
And I read this book when I was I did a book on tape called Imzadi when I was a kid that was all about their love story. And
Oh
them
my
breaking up.
God,
Yeah.
cute.
I know, it's ridiculous. So anyway, picking that story thread up now, and it's seamless. It's like a seamless continuation of that story that I always wondered about.
Yeah.
It's satisfied. This is like paying off like the way Game of Thrones Season 7 paid off for me, where like story threads from years and years ago come back that you thought they'd never talk about again. I love that.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It was great. I loved it. It was so good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this episode. Second Chances.
It's a good one. And then he goes to a different ship to do different things. And
yeah. And then what happened at the end? Was it left like Thomas wanted to be with Troy and she said no, right?
She said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she said no because she was like, this is just going to happen again. And like, I cannot with you. You're just going to make that decision again, basically.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Yeah.
With that, because I'm not done on the Enterprise. I'm not going with you because I'm not done here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is so interesting because she made the choice that he made
Yeah.
to her years ago. But once you've broken trust with someone like that,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get it back.
Yeah.
And I think that
Even though it was a different Riker. Because once you split from your clone, like, you're a different person, like,
absolutely,
immediately.
no question.
You know,
My
like,
clone and I definitely agree with you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
But
Yeah.
it's a different person. So, like, that there is that argument. Like, well, would he do that now? Like, he's grown into a different person, but he's also been kind of stuck on a ship, you know, for many, many years in this one state of being. I mean, you know.
I think that our Riker, Will Riker, I think is more mature than Thomas Riker because...
Yeah, totally. Oh, and they, like, fought.
Oh, yeah.
They did
I
not
think
like each
Will
other.
Riker, like, made the mistake of leaving Troy, and I think that he regrets it. I think that, like, deep down, he knows he fucked up.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about later when we get into the movies. But
cool.
Yeah, I feel like Thomas Riker pining after Troy started pining after a version that didn't exist anymore.
Right.
And was kind of kept in this sort of immature state because of it.
Well, yeah, he's got to be a little emotionally stunted just because he, like, didn't really have any interaction for so many years.
Yeah, totally. And that's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not.
You got to talk to a computer forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next?
Paula says, but she could tell if he was lying to himself about what he really wanted. Yeah, maybe that's true. So
if you're lying to yourself and you believe it, are you lying? Do you feel like you're lying? Do you have the emotions of a liar?
I don't know. But I think that Troy would be able to feel his love. Yo, Adam, what's up? This is my friend Jeff. We're talking about Star Trek.
Yeah.
I think that she'd be able to feel both things, like how much he loved her and how much he wanted his career.
Yeah.
And how, but she could feel how torn he was also, and I bet it made it easier for her to understand, but and forgive eventually, which is why they could be friends. But at the same time, I think that feeling his interest in his career move away from his interest in her, or supersede his interest in her, must have been so painful.
Right. Yeah.
For her. So I think that she probably has more of like a scar that's healed over to be friends with him than he does, I would imagine.
And how much
I don't know.
was
What do you
just
think?
guilt?
How much was just guilt? I know. This is the type of shit I want to talk about. You know?
Yeah, totally.
How does
I
Riker
don't know.
feel, man?
I don't know, man. I think the right thing happened.
Yeah, I think it was like brilliantly written.
I do think the right thing happened.
It like kind of added in a little bit of sexual tension back into the relationship with Riker.
Yeah, because she got to get up on that.
Yeah, she got some Thomas.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants some Will too. Who knows?
Will
He's the
bod.
same person, kind of.
Sort of.
I also love as a sci-fi story, like one person or two people with one childhood and like young adulthood. I think that's such a cool idea. I'd like to see more of it. This is a change of pace, Adam. I'm gonna do this occasionally. I mean, I'm gonna be streaming Mario all the time, but we'll be doing this occasionally.
Oh, is this one of your Mario people?
Yeah, Adam's one of my mods for Mario.
Oh, hello, Mario person, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff. I live in Seattle. I play music. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, she's awesome. Next up, episode 25, Timescape. Aboard a runabout, Picard, Data, LaForge, and Troy encounter time distortions. They also discover the Enterprise frozen in time seconds away from destruction.
Dope. This one's so dope.
So good. I'm glad we agree on this one.
Yeah, this one is so good. All of the impressions that they were doing at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, yeah. I can't even believe that's in here.
Yeah.
You just kept talking and talking in one long, uninterrupted sentence.
And Troy's impression of that guy that was like hitting on her, like that professor or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
really
great.
funny.
Great character stuff. Keiko was on the shuttle with them, right?
It's just
Oh,
Data.
no, it's not. No,
it's
I'm
just
thinking
Data.
I'm thinking of Rascals. No.
Yeah.
No, Picard, Data, LaForge, and Troy.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, Evan's got to go. Dude,
Bye,
thanks for
Evan.
hanging out. My hair and music rock. Thanks, dude. Jeff, your shaving glasses are fucking A.
Thank
Live
you.
long and prosper. You too, dude. Thanks
You
for
too,
hanging out
man.
with us.
Thanks
I appreciate
a lot.
it.
Have a good night.
Yeah, and yeah, you'll be able to hear the rest of this later.
Yeah.
On the podcast. What were we talking about? We're talking about Timescape.
Yeah, so they find all these time distortion bubbles, right? And then
yeah.
they track down the Enterprise and they see a
It's
Romulan
like the center of
ship.
these time distortion bubbles.
Yeah,
Yeah. Love
like,
you too, dude.
in the middle of like lasering
Yeah.
stuff.
Like Crusher has like a blaster wound in her chest.
Yeah, so she's like
in the process of
die.
dying.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy town.
I love this episode. I actually showed this one to Andy to try to get her into the show, and it made no sense to her. She had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
But I was on my watch through because like I watched this a couple months ago, and we were staying at her parents' house, and they have this amazing theater there. So we watched this on a theater.
Nice.
It's so fucking cool for me. But I think she
so
fell
dope.
asleep. But now she's really into the show. She went back and started from scratch.
You're gonna love it now that you've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy's lurking here too, Adam. Yeah, so I love this episode. I really like the episodes where they turn the ship off or they freeze the ship or something like that. Where no one else knows you're there or something like that, and you are exploring the ship with impunity, because that's kind of something I always wanted to do. Like, you know, remember that episode, The Next Phase, where Ro and Geordi were like quote unquote dead?
Yes.
From last season?
Yes, I do remember
it reminded
that.
me a little of that. It also reminded me a little Disaster from season 4, where the ship is broken and turned off and everyone's running around trying to fix it.
Yeah.
I love stuff
Just
like
seeing
that.
the ship in a different state than it usually is in every episode is very exciting.
Yeah.
So like I love this episode because I love this group of people.
Yeah.
Together.
Picard, Data, LaForge, and
That's
Troy.
like I
Solid
really
group.
have been digging the configurations of like people
Yeah,
in
that's a
this
good
show in this season. That's part of what's so refreshing about this season. They're very cool like configurations of different like people in the crew hanging out.
Yeah.
So this one's really good. Troy's really bringing it again at this point in the series. Like just such a good character. I love her in this one as well. And I love Data as always, but yeah, so it turns out that there's like they're in the middle of this power transfer because they're essentially trying to give the Romulan ship a jump, right? Well, no, they're evacuating the Romulan ship.
They are trying to give the Romulan ship a jump, but what they don't realize is that because there's
there's
weird
babies.
There's
babies in their fake time reactor core.
They have some experimental piece of technology that's opened up a portal to like another time dimension or something like that.
Yeah, like another like sub-level in time or whatever. And so there are these babies and they're trying to incubate, but it's going to kill them because it's not chill for them to be in there.
Totally. So
it's like a gravity
they're
thing.
accidentally killing babies.
Yeah, they're accidentally killing babies.
And
then
the Romulans, it looks like they're attacking our crew, but they're actually not. It's
they're
really interesting.
The Romulans are being evacuated. They're trying to save the Romulans, right? But then you see one Romulan that's like shooting at Beverly, so they think that half the Romulans are like, it's kind of a mystery. They're trying to figure out why they're evacuating the Romulan ship, and at the same time, why are the Romulans attacking the people on their crew?
Totally.
And it turns out that it's just people.
It's not what you think.
from that sub time area,
right?
That it's like the adults coming to try to save their babies, so they're like shooting people to try to like get them to stop the power transfer that's going to kill their children,
which they totally ripped off in Voyager with this episode on the holodeck where they have photonic beings from like a photonic realm who get sucked into the holodeck, who are like kind of real on the holodeck and are being killed somehow.
I've
this
never
also
seen
has
Voyager,
like that insane moment where Picard gets like some sort of weird like hysteria.
It's like getting the bends when you're diving.
Bends,
like he's not supposed to be. He's out of time. Yeah.
It's adorable.
And he's like cracking up, like drawing the face. And they're like, "Dude, are you on drugs?"
It's so cute.
And like they have to go back to the ship to their own time.
Yeah.
In order to like not get sick. So there's like a whole time sickness thing. So now they have to figure things out in like 10-minute bursts or else they're going to like get sick.
Yeah.
It's a really cool, puzzly, like complicated episode. And I really, really like it. And I like the way the crew works together. I like the technology in it. Like, this is what I want to see. This is what I like. This is what I like out of Star Trek. Like, I'm not a big fan of, I still like these episodes. Like, everything that I said that I'm not a fan of so far doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's just not going to be my favorite stuff. You know, like time travel episodes, never going to be my favorite.
I love it.
Ancient civilization episodes, too close to time travel, so I don't like it.
Love it.
You know, like as much. But but this is what I want to see out of Star Trek. Like this really highly futuristic stuff.
Like you run into something crazy in space that does a crazy thing that you don't expect. I love that.
I love stuff like that.
I'm all about that. Totally.
Flashbacks are my least favorite, says It's Me, Paula. I agree.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
Flashbacks. Except I love them in Lost. Well, I love them in the first couple seasons anyway.
It depends on the show. I mean, I love time travel in Doctor Who.
Totally.
Yeah, but that's, what that show is.
Totally.
Damn, I'm going to pick up some Doctor Who when I get home today, I think. It's going to be dope.
The new companion, Bill, is awesome. You're going to love her.
Yeah.
She's so great.
I want to see her.
All right, moving on. I think this is the finale. Yep, finale.
Oh, brah. So good.
The black and white flashbacks are ew.
Yeah, totally. That's cheap,
That's
and
true.
don't let anyone tell you black and white is classy.
It's only
ever.
good if it's in like Wayne's World or something,
Yeah, something where it's a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Descent, Part 1. The Borg begin a new offensive against the Federation, but this time they're acting as individuals. Data experiences his first emotions while fighting them. And we're gonna talk about this both halves. So we're gonna spoil.
So we're gonna spoil Part 2 of Descent, which is the first episode from season 7.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was watching it because I was on Netflix continuous play, and I was so into what was happening that I just kept watching through.
So the second half, Picard tries to free Data. So the end of the first half, we find out that Andy, this is spoiler time. Go away. Sorry, I said that very rudely.
But go.
And I said that so rudely. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so spoilers. Here we go. So Laura's back, and Laura has convinced all of the. Bye. Come back in like 5 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, come in and out. See what's happening. Anyway, so here we go. Yo, Bluebee controls here.
Ooh, Bluebies. Nice.
Bluebee control, Blue By control. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Bluebee control.
Blue By control. I don't know. Who cares? All right. I mean, I care. Hello, welcome. What's it called?
So yeah, Laura comes back. Tries to and like gives Data this emotion chip, and Data only feels hatred.
Yeah, he only gives him hate emotions and anger emotions. Oh, so what I loved about this is the Borg come back, right? But they're not really the Borg. They're like an offshoot of the Borg because Borg. Because of Hugh. So Hugh taught them what emotions and like not necessarily emotions, but like
self-awareness.
Sense of self-awareness is. And so like they're all like defectors basically of the Borg lifestyle, but they also hate humans, right? And so you find out that they're just trying to cleanse every inferior race. They're doing like this whole genocide thing, and we don't know who their leader is yet or anything, but like all Data knows is that he goes up to one of the Borg who's like trying to kill him, and he gets angry for the first time ever in his life, and he like grabs this Borg by his neck and strangles him to death. It's his first emotion ever. Yeah, it's his first emotion ever, and he's like, stop it, and like kills him and like throws him, and he's like, they're like, what's wrong with you, Data? Because he's just standing blankly and like staring, looking horrified. And he's not one to look horrified. Yeah. Because he doesn't have emotions. And like, he's like, I think I felt my first emotion. And I was like, oh, shit.
Did that blow your mind?
Oh my God. It was so good. Just like
crazy.
that whole first like thing. I was just like, edge of my seat. Like, it's so good.
I do love the way this starts. I'm actually not wild about this as a whole. Data just wants to find love.
Oh, well, he found it.
He's looking for love in all the wrong places, though. I'm not wild about the whole lore genocidal leader storyline because it's so ill-defined. I just watched this very recently, and I could barely understand what was happening. Like
he was just being destructive because he's Lorne. He's like a
but that's not enough for me,
He's like this.
I haven't seen Lorne in like 6 years.
He's like chaotic.
Yeah,
evil.
His plan just seems to be to convince Data to be evil.
He's like the
with
Joker.
him. He's just lonely. He just wants Data.
Yes, because he has emotions.
He just wants to be in charge of the Borg, but they never explain why or how.
He's selfish and lonely. I don't think we need that much explanation. Into
I needed a little
personally.
more. I needed a little more. I couldn't sink into the emotional crux of the story because it didn't quite ring true to me, and I didn't have enough information to get behind the point of view of any of the characters. I actually felt like both halves of it feel rushed to me, particularly the first half where like you get into this altercation with the Borg and then you're like going down to the planet and then you're looking around. I don't feel like there's much meat and potatoes of story there. It's just like looking for shit, and the second half has more of the story. Right. But I felt like they didn't give me enough of the details of the story for me to latch into.
The first half had a lot of Data acting really like creepy, like and weird because he's trying to figure stuff out, and so he's like, well, he's just like in the holodeck pretending to strangle this Borg over and
Oh,
over
yeah,
again.
that's right.
And Geordi's
Trying to
all
get
like, dude, I don't think this is healthy, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really unsettling.
this is really weird.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need my life to feel threatened, and I need 2 officers to like turn off the safety features of the holodeck. And like, so will you please help me out, like, real quick? And Geordi's like, no, no, this is weird what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So I just enjoyed that. Just like seeing Data like acting out of character like that is really.
I agree. It's fun.
Interesting
It's
to me.
nice to see Brent Spiner do all these different shades
Yeah.
of different versions of the same character.
Yeah.
You know, it's really interesting. I mean, like Hugh, I love Iborg. Like seeing Hugh again was so exciting for me. But again, like they didn't
It's
really pay
just
it
Robot
off.
Hitler. I get
Robot
that.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really pay off Hugh either. I felt like they put in the things that fans wanted in this episode, but didn't necessarily know what to do with them.
Maybe I'm just that cheap, and I just like it.
Well, I liked it when I first.
When you were a
watching
kid,
it.
you could say it.
When I liked it. When I was a kid. I liked it when I was a kid.
That's
and
cool.
then on this latest viewing, because I know what was going to happen, and I was still like fuzzy in my memory about what Lore's motivation was, and then I was still fuzzy after watching it, and that was annoying to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that stuff. But I really just liked them trying, like, the away team on the planet that was left, because they evacuated most of the people, but there were still some people left, and Picard was still stuck in there.
Oh, yeah, and they had to figure out a way
They
out
had
of
to
that
figure a
jail
way-
using the visor.
Yeah.
That was fun. That's your dream scenario.
No, they didn't use the visor in that episode. The visor one was...
Oh, that's in the one we talked about before.
Yeah.
They used what did they use?
We didn't talk about that episode. We skipped an episode.
What?
Yeah.
That was last season, wasn't it?
No.
What?
The visor one? We skipped an episode.
That episode is called Starship Mine.
The one where they're fumigating the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that episode.
We didn't. Where is it in the season? Let's take a look
I
here.
don't know.
Let me get to the list of all of season 7.
Well, Star Trek loves
season
you,
6,
Blueby.
sorry. I want season
Blueby
6.
Control.
Season. Damn it.
But yeah, in this episode, they get out with like, they steal like a comm from somebody or something, and they have to make a thing that'll like fry the that'll turn on the safety features in Data's mind again or something, or disable something that'll allow him to realize that because Lore overrode his like controls for like not harming humans or something like that.
Yeah, dude, you're totally right. Starship 9 is after Birthright Part 2. That's so weird. I just used next on Memory Alpha. I was just using the next function on each episode, and there's like a next production order and a next
teleportation technology. The holodeck, not the holodeck, the teleportation atom is my favorite technology / innovation in Star Trek.
For me, I think it's the replicator.
Replicator's cool too.
Like the ability to not have to own anything and to have everything you could possibly need, including food. Like I feel like the replicator is the invention that makes the Star Trek future possible. Absolutely. And I'm sure, yeah. Getting places fast is something that I want desperately, but I'd rather get to a Star Trek future if I had to choose one. I think the replicator gets us there. Right. I want to say holodeck, but it's just like holodeck's fucking awesome. But like it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. I don't think we missed anything else. Let me just double check here. Yeah, no, we did that one. So yeah, we missed. Well, this is great because I'm lukewarm on the final episode of this season, I'm fiery red hot on Starship Mine, which is the episode where like the Enterprise is undergoing this green laser beam thing that's cleaning it. It's a fumigation. Yeah. They need to evacuate because they're just fumigating the Starship Enterprise. And there's Data is trying to learn the science of small talk, right? Oh so God, he gets into a small talk battle with like the small talk master, the guy that's like hosting them like on the planet that they're hanging out on or whatever. Yeah, I love it. And meanwhile, somebody's trying to steal like the byproduct of whatever their engine runs off of for like to sell it to terrorists, right? So they're posing as like the crew that comes in and like does stuff before they fumigate or whatever. One of those people, if I'm remembering correctly, is in Battlestar Galactica. Another of those people becomes Tuvok on Voyager.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. In case you were curious about that.
But yeah, like, sorry, I was reading some of
I know
our comments.
Totally.
But what's it called? Yeah, like that's a really good episode.
Yeah. So Picard is just running around on the ship
because he went back to get his saddle, but he got stuck.
He gets stuck. He tries to transport himself off and warn people that there's people like taking over the ship, and he can't.
Yeah.
So then he has to just solve the problem. So it's just like
by himself.
Picard in Rambo mode. On the spaceship.
Trying to like set booby traps for people and stuff.
Yeah.
And
totally.
So he almost dies. They transport him off the ship, and but Data. This is the one that I was saying, like the Beverly, Riker, Data, and Troy.
Right. Totally. This is the one I thought you were talking about too.
This is the cool one, and that's the one they use the visor to knock everybody out, and Data's the only one that can stay awake for the thing that they did.
I love that there's two very similar situations in this like this season and then the beginning of the next
Picard a la Home Alone, exactly.
Picard Home Alone. Thank you, Paula. Like similar situations where they have to use some unexpected device to trigger the whatever it is to do the thing to get out of what is happening. I love that kind of stuff. It's
pretty cool. So yeah.
Hey, Bluey Control, calm down.
It's gonna be okay, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's
a very good one. I like
pretending
the plan.
to use curse words is just as bad.
I like how they all had to like whisper under each other's breath, like as they like try to casually walk by each other so that they could come up with a plan. While like their captors are like
totally.
just hanging out and shooting the shit. Like,
thank you, Blue Control.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love the whole episode. I love that it like revolves around his saddle, and of course, I love the fact that he pretends to be Mott the barber.
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm Mott, and the whole episode they're calling him Mott, and they're like, "Where's Mott?
Where's the barber?"
Yeah,
I don't think he's a barber. I love it. Those types of episodes, I think this season has maybe the most of them, where they're just like really fun.
I lost my phone. Oh, it's under my butt fat.
Did you look in your butt?
Yeah. Adam Gross says that it's fun saying to Siri, "Beam me up, Scotty," and I don't know what that's about.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Can I see your badge, please?
Cool.
Cute. That's not what I was expecting. Took her a while.
Yeah, well, I've got an iPhone 5 because I broke and smashed my iPhone 7.
Oh, no.
It's a huge bummer.
She got there, though.
Yeah.
She did it.
She can do it.
Yeah, I like we were saying, I like the way that characters are grouped in this season.
Good configurations this season. Good small talk stuff with Data.
Yeah. I love that.
Just a really good episode.
Really
and then,
good character stuff all
so
season
one
long.
thing that I did, the reason I wanted to remember to talk about this episode was because we've been killing a lot of people this season.
Huh.
Like Picard, like having to murder people has been a thing this season.
Did he murder people? I thought he just knocked them out.
I feel like, okay, he definitely, like, killed some people. He, like, blew up that ship.
He gave them every chance in the world to
I know,
make the
but
right
I'm just
choice,
saying,
and they didn't take
and
it.
I'm not saying that he's happy about it. I'm just saying that he's been facing that choice a lot more lately.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
like
totally.
where he has to like kill people.
I got defensive for some reason. No, I'm with you. I see
I'm
what
not
you're
saying that he's cold-blooded and
no.
like running around murdering people
gotcha.
like that.
I
I
gotcha.
just meant like he's been having to.
I like seeing him put in that position
Yeah.
because I think that if anyone is going to make that decision, it should be him.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think anyone really should. Like, the decision is always like, can I save the most people? Like, in that situation, he has to kill that person to save.
Right.
Like, you know, however.
All he did was
who knows
take
however
the
many others.
clasp off of the thing that they had the stuff in, right?
Yeah.
And they blew up because she was going to go sell it to terrorists.
That's right. That's right. It was a little bit more hardcore than normal, I think.
Yeah, and like I was like, damn, dude, like he's been having to kill people.
Yeah, that was a little.
But that's not the first time that happened this season. Like I was like, I remember thinking that several other times. Like, damn, like many of these people have had to like just. There was no other option for them, so they had
like
to,
in Tapestry, you get to see hear some of his memories of all the people he's killed.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
you're totally right.
A lot of killing stuff in this season, which I think is true.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it's really hard.
For me, Chain of Command is the highlight of the season for sure. Yeah, and I put that as parts 1 and 2. What do you think?
Chain of Command. Which one is that?
That's the one where Picard is tortured by the Cardassians.
Oh, that one's high up there for sure. But back to the last two that we were talking about, part 1 and part 2, the season finale and the season premiere of season 7.
Descent.
Descent. Just to wrap it up with that, I really, really am very much. I think it just really piques my interest when we look at Data having emotions, because for a second there it looked like he was scared, for a second there it looked like he was only capable of having like angry emotions.
Totally.
And thankfully that just turned out that he was being manipulated by his brother, who found a way to Wi-Fi emotions to him.
But then he chooses not to use the chip.
Well, he has the burnt out one. They could probably backwards engineer it, but he's like, I don't want that because it turned me into a beehole.
Yeah.
And Geordi's like, no, dude, I'm your friend. You're going to want this later. I'm taking it. And and because they're friends. And this is what is interesting.
I do love that.
This is what's interesting because he doesn't have a comparison,
yes, Paula,
right?
they are. Hey, Sam, what's up? Cardassians and Kardashians are indeed interchangeable.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry,
absolutely. No, I'm just saying, I really just enjoy so he has emotions for the first time, and they're like, okay, try to describe the emotion that you had, and I'll tell you if it was an emotion, because he's like, I don't have anything to compare it to.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, did you feel like jealous? And he's like, can you try to explain emotions without using emotions? And you can't.
Yeah.
Because this is just like a universal experience that people have, right? So who knows if he's felt emotions or not at this point? Honestly, it was obviously different enough for him to have noticed it when it happened, when he was being manipulated by Lore.
Yeah.
However, I feel like he definitely has the potential there, because there's no way he doesn't feel some form of emotions at this point.
Yeah, I think the differentiating factor is Troy, who can feel his emotions when Lore took over and can't normally. He's just blank to her normally.
Totally.
So, but I still don't think that necessarily says that he isn't feeling it.
No, I'm saying that he does have feelings. That I think that he's been having feelings for a long time. They're just not.
They're just very muted,
the same kind of thing that we have, because we're humans.
For Tasha Yar, he wouldn't have saved.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have saved that picture of her that we saw in Measure of Man.
Yeah,
otherwise.
He keeps sentimental objects around.
She was special to him. That implies emotional contact. Even if he doesn't know why.
I just think it's different for him because he's an android, and that's it.
And
I think that he functionally,
I
think he just functionally just has emotions.
But I do think that the emotion chip takes him from being a very
I think that it makes him have
to a normally emotional person.
I think it just makes him have human level emotions. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah,
totally. That's what I think it does.
And unfortunately, with Lore, just the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Laura is just twisted, man. That guy's got issues.
Laura's a motherfucker.
Yeah. He's a real jerk.
Real piece of shit.
Real punk.
So do you feel like this was the best season so far?
So far, it's been my favorite season.
Cool.
So much good stuff that I've just been loving so much.
Yeah. For me, I love seasons.
And like I said, and Crusher, Crusher, taking command.
Oh yeah, in episode 1 of season 7, I love
that. Was so she was so good.
She's
was
great.
So good at
Gates
it.
McFadden is
just
awesome.
The way she was doing her command style was just so awesome.
I loved it.
I was
really into it.
Oh man, I would pick you to be the captain. If I didn't serve on the Enterprise, I would serve on a ship that you were the captain of.
I know, totally. She's so awesome.
So good.
Yeah. I loved it. I love season 6. I feel like seasons 3 through 7 are all so great. It's hard for me to have a favorite. It's more for me just episodes. So I guess someday I'll have to sit down and count.
This is a trend for me though. I tend to
more?
I tend to like almost anything in its later years.
Things get better.
Things, in my opinion, get better. A lot of people, I feel get very contrarian about stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, well, the early stuff was better. That was the original, blah." And it's why wouldn't you like how something ages? It just becomes more of what it is, and really becomes comfortable in itself.
I think the only time where it goes the wrong way is The Office, where it gets
sometimes it gets overdone.
So comfortable that it
you
overstays its welcome.
At a certain point, you need to learn when to end a show.
Yeah.
Which is what I think should have happened with a lot of TV shows at
Yeah.
this point, The Simpsons included.
But I think 7 years for TNG is actually perfect.
I think that I'm really excited for this final season. I'm
Yeah.
going to be sad when it's gone, but I also think that we'll probably have gotten the story that we needed to get out of it.
I think that you do. I think that you do. And
just
it's
just
very
in the
rewatchable.
direction that it's been going.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm really looking forward to season 7. But yeah.
I've been rewatching as we've gone along over the last couple of years, and then I also have been doing another watch, like sort of half watch with Andy, because she's watching from the beginning. She's in season 2 now, so I've been watching right now season 7 and season 2, a little bit of each, and it's just like every time I put this show on TV, at any point in the show, it just connects me back to my childhood.
Cool.
And I've come to realize through podcasting about this that, like, while it might be my favorite show, it's not because it's the best show ever made. It's because like I have this personal attachment to it that's really
it connects to
dear
you
to
in a
me,
certain
you know?
way.
And that I've been watching since I was like 4 years old. So, yeah.
And
that's nice, though. That
I've
makes it
been
feel like it's my
rewatching-
friend. Like the show is my friend, you know?
So I've been rewatching The Simpsons. I'm on season 1, right?
Wow.
That's prime Simpsons.
Season 1, I bought that on DVD and I hated it.
I mean, I'm just saying early Simpsons, like the first 10 years of The Simpsons.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, it like totally changed after like season 1, like Homer's
season
voice.
1 is so different.
Homer's
Well,
voice is so different. Like the
it's
show is so
it was
different.
still finding its legs in
Yeah,
season 1.
totally.
I'm not saying season 1 necessarily is prime Simpsons. I'm just
But
saying like
I think
old
like
Simpsons
2,
is prime
2
Simpsons.
on, you know, like,
Yeah.
I didn't like.
But
we
I'm just
started-
saying, just speaking of growing up with something, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
totally.
Like that's like one thing that like I have, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paula
I
says
get it.
there are not a lot of shows that showcase what the best version of humanity can be.
I know there are so
Totally.
many. I agree. There are so many that focus on the worst that humanity can be,
Right.
a la
Walking Dead.
Handmaid's Tale,
The 100.
The 100, Black Mirror, even. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Those
just-
shows, I feel like they show.
they're valuable.
Yeah, I think that they're
Yeah.
like cautionary tales.
Yeah,
Like this is what happens when humanity follows its instincts. So we
yeah.
need to like try.
I also really love Doctor Who for that same reason, because
I
you
agree,
see
totally.
you see a lot
Yeah.
of positive,
Yeah.
you know, positive versions of human reality, and it's really
Yeah.
cool.
Or at least like a really deep love for humanity,
Yeah,
which I think is really special.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really nice. That was season 7 or season 6.
That was season 6. We did
Season
it.
6, we did it. Cheers!
Boop.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
hanging out with us.
Yeah. This was like, I don't know, one of my favorite ones that we've done yet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I love doing it on YouTube. I
Yeah,
think
it's been really,
really
cool. I
fun.
think we should do the next one the same way.
It'll be our
100th
100th
episode.
Yeah.
Yes, let's live stream that one for
Yeah,
sure.
we will. Let's do it. That's the
Yeah,
plan.
for
We're gonna.
sure.
That was my original plan, and then
Beat me up, Scotty.
I didn't think we would make it, so I made a new plan, but I like the original plan better. It's hearing me talk. I'm sorry.
It hears everything.
That was my original plan in the
It says-
TV up, Scotty. I didn't think we would make it.
Let me check on that.
Okay, I found this on the web for that was my original plan and the TV up Scotty. I didn't think we would make it, so I made a new plan, but I like it. It's hearing me talk is that he was there.
Oh my god.
I love you, Siri.
That's so funny. Colby,
I
thanks for
love you,
hanging out.
Siri.
Colby, I'm glad you had fun. This was awesome. Thank you guys. So I usually stream Mario Maker on this channel. I'll be doing more of
still
that
hears
this
you.
weekend. Oh, it does?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
And then I'm actually working on a live version of my other podcast, Sci-Fi on Trial. Which is
Cool.
going to be really fun.
Cool.
And then we're going to do occasional
I would love to
podcast
do a
recordings.
Sci-Fi on Trial one of these days.
Okay.
It's just such a...
I'd love to have you do
Yeah,
that. You'd be
I would
awesome
love
at
to do that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it in
I'm
there.
more confident in my podcasting the more you have me on. So
Nice.
now I'm
You're
like,
awesome.
into it.
You're like my
Yeah.
first go-to. And you still are. Shasta Gaming, what's up, dude? Welcome.
Hey,
All right, you guys.
welcome.
So-
We're about to leave.
Yeah,
so-
we're about to leave. So this is going to be in a podcast on my podcast,
Yeah.
Sci-Fi with Jesse Mercury. You can find it at jessemercury.com.
Make sure to check out my music, you guys.
Yeah,
I play
make
awesome
sure.
punk rock about partying, doing drugs, and also hating yourself. It's really cool. We're called Rat Queen. Bandcamp. ratqueen.bandcamp.com. That's what it is. And I'm also on Facebook. And you could just friend me, whatever. Let's just be friends.
Totally.
Why not?
Let's all be friends.
Let's just all be friends. Jeff Tappy on Facebook. So thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much for
guys.
having me.
Bye, Dana. This was
Yeah.
my first ever sci-fi stream on YouTube.
Oh, well, it
we
works
did
nice.
this on Facebook once, but
Yeah.
I think YouTube is my home now.
Yeah.
You guys. This is my home.
Yep. I love
All right,
you,
guys.
YouTube.
Hey, Andy. Hey, you're back. Yay.
Oh, bye, Andy.
You should, Andy. You should come over. Do you want to come over? Thank you, Colby. We'd love to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks, Colby.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play Mario Maker this weekend.
Great questions from both Colby and it's me, Paula.
Yeah.
Good contributions. Thanks so much. I just want to give a shout out to you guys. Good stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
You make this so much more fun than just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really fun just talking to
Yeah,
you. You know,
totally.
we've been doing it for years, and I love it. But it's also really fun talking to you guys too.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it.
So tune in next time, guys.
Yeah. Bye, Shasta. Bye, Adam. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Adam.
Andy, come over. Okay, bye.
Bye.